This is different. This is magnificent, man. And I like this. I enjoyed myself to the fullest, and I can't wait to come back on.
And it's also wonderful to hear people talk sanely to each other.
You're doing something outside the box. And on top of that, entertaining people at the same time. And on top of that, educating people at the same time. You can't lose, bro.
You know, your future has no limits, Avi. You just keep doing what you're doing, my friend. You're going to be able to write your own ticket.
You have something amazing going with this show but you're there and you're educating us.
I mean, yes, pain is inevitable. I mean, there's a reason we have these sensors in our body. I mean, they're warning signs.
And the baby is facing me, and I look at the baby like, what a beautiful face you've got. And I'm just looking, and the baby smiles. That is, I think, 10 times more powerful.
And I would ask him to come with me back to early 2023 to save my son's life.
My father passed away. She's an only child. She didn't have any family. She asked me to walk her down the aisle. That's the part that changed.
It's just that cruel moment of when you realize there is no hope. That tears at me, but it doesn't tear at me anymore because there was hope. I hung on just long enough to come out the other side. And here I am. Look at me, all beautiful and stuff.
You're not going to be able to overcome at least what technology has created.
And they were rebuilding that country at a cost.
Because by working, Avi, you will keep yourself busy and get used to the grief.
Another trio of questions, now more underrated. We have Billy D. Williams, Italian men named Skippy, or unicycle.
I'm sorry, Italian men named Skippy. Put me away, Avi. That's
Archie Bunker, the mountain climber, Ralph Cramden, the yoga instructor, or Don Corleone, the computer repair person.
It's clearly an issue with the hard drive.
Don Corleone. And how about this? The word bed actually looks like a bed. ED.
And then I visited the children, and I would say the adults were at least as enthused to see Santa.
Listen, I got a chance to get to know Joe Weeder. Joe was like a second father to me. He took me under his wing.
I had a blast. I want to dance with somebody.
There we go.
I'll do it.
I do too right now, guys and gals. And you know, real close, despite the fact, guys and gals, that in my opinion, Stevie's the winner regardless. But I'm not voting. We have more.
Tom, Don, I'm a true fan. Yo, I never watched all of your movies through, Tom, because they scared the crap out of me. Love y'all, man.
Great to meet you.
Avi, you did a great job.
John Amos.
Man, what an introduction. I hope I can live up to that. God bless you.
Well, thank you very much. I can't think of a better way to begin the new year than with you.
Welcome, my friend, to the second round reveal show.
Avi, always great to hear your voice, kid, and to hear your intros. You're amazing.
Welcome, this man, last name Davidson, first name Tommy.
Nice. I think that's the best intro I've ever had. Grab your mommy. Here's Tommy.
Did you have a nice time tonight in the green room?
I had a great time. I can't tell you how refreshing it is that somebody knows what they're doing.
Avi is a poet, but he doesn't know it, but his feet show it. You're unbelievable.
Winning it all, competitive juices, are they all there, Joe?
Man, the competitive juices don't stop.
I am here to destroy people, to win. Put out the rhymes that make things say that be so kind, and then hit you in the butt, because I'm ready to win this all. It's all about me going to Greece with my wife and my family and having a great time. Let's win this.
Oh, are you here to win the whole darn tournament?
I don't play. I just win.
You're chomping at the bit to get in this thing.
Oh, yeah, man. I've been telling you, brother. You brought up some names to me, and I was like, I can't wait. I hope they don't see me, because it's going to be on like a steaming pot of neck bones, baby, and I'm not playing.
Mike, I got to ask you the golden question. Are you here to win the entire thing, my friend?
I'll just say this, Avi. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
But are you here to win the entire celebrity tournament when it's all said and done?
I saw a very familiar face in Mike Rotundo.
better known as IRS, and he said that he was here for the winner chicken dinner, and I want to take away that chicken dinner. So yes, I want to win this whole shebang.
First name Joe Smith. Welcome, my friend.
Oh my God, Avi. Where did you get all of that from? Oh my God.
Guys, another prediction night on the TKN Celebrity Grand Tournament. My predictions are tonight. Number 1, we have film, TV, and stage legend, Miss Kelly Packard. Hey man, triple threat. She really knows what she's doing, and I think she's built for this. Number 2 on the list, a Mr. John O. Hurley, also triple threat. I think he might be able to dance too. I'm not sure about that. But I do know one thing. When he was on the Family Feud, that's when I took notice of him. And brother, as far as I'm concerned, he should still be on the Family Feud. 3rd, last but not least, a friend of mine, MMA superstar, MMA UFC Hall of Famer, Mr. Matt Hughes. A man of which I have the utmost respect for. And I think he's going to be something to deal with in this tournament. So the 2 people that I think are moving on is Miss Kelly Packard. Yes. And Mr. Matt Hughes. Sorry, John. I love you, brother. But I think they got your number tonight, bro. But hell, Family Feud might be hiring again. Peace.
There are those of us who like to venture to the unexplored, to see the beauty in the strange and unknown. Those of us who go out there with a sense of wonder. It's the magic of risking everything for a dream that nobody sees but you.
Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the shadow of the shade. Yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me, unafraid. God, it matters not how strait the gate, how punishment charged the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
I have to remind myself that some birds aren't meant to be caged. Their feathers are just too bright. And when they fly away, the part of you that knows it was a sin to lock them up does rejoice. Let me tell you about a voice. The one that whispers. It tells me what's right and what's not, when to leave and where to go. It's not Shakespeare. It does not speak in memorable lines. My inner voice always gives it to me straight. Tells me who my real friends are, when to say yes, when to say no. Whether the person sitting next to me is the one I'll be spending the rest of my life with. You already know that dedication, hard work, and perseverance gives positive results. Let your instincts guide you.
Your 15 minutes are up. You better start thinking of something else. What else to do? What do I want to do? I was picked a day that I was going to go to the Taxi and Limousine Commission to try and get my license. And the day before I decided to go, I got a call from my agent. Paul Newman is casting, wants to see you. Getting a job is like having money in your pocket. If you got it, you can get it. Strangely enough, so this was in September. By October, I had a TV job, an off-Broadway show. I was directing a play, and I was going to be in January going to do this movie. It was called Harry and Sons. Go figure. What would you do if you weren't an actor? If you didn't make it as an actor, what would you do? I have no idea. I would act somewhere, because I'll die if I don't.
Basketball Hall of Fame and one of the NBA's top 50 players. And I'm really excited to tell you about my new relationship in the broadcasting world with the new network.
It's TKN, and a young man named Avi Klein has poured his blood, sweat, and tears into creating this new network and assembling an amazing group of individuals to co-host shows with him throughout the network, covering everything you can imagine. He's assembled artists, authors, film entertainers.
Legends from every walk of life who are just bringing their knowledge and their experience and their wisdom and This is amazing. Like in a day and age when our airwaves are just completely oversaturated with false narratives, with social media futility, with craziness, Avi just is I feel like this is a cosmic convergence of what is most important to him, and he's such a stand-up guy.
Here, but with a very warm heart for Avi and thanking him for all the work he's put into creating the new network. For me, I have just a teeny part of this in terms of having a program that's based on storytelling, where I get to share some of my stories with you.
I can't even imagine how hard Avi Klein works. He tells me he gets 4 hours of sleep a day, and I actually believe that, because Avi is so passionate, he works so hard, and
tune into Avi's network, because there's a lot of jewels that we're going to uncover.
There is nothing that was on TV tonight that even remotely rivals what we did on this broadcast.
And I really thank your support. I lost my father, and you were the first person to support me in all that, and I thank you so much for that.
I am so grateful for our friendship. And you know what? You appreciate things in people that make such a difference. You make each of us feel like we're more than we know how to even thank you. Anyway.
It's very respectful, and he really connects with the artists and his audiences, and I felt like this guy's on to something, and I'm proud to be a part of this with him.
Avi, congratulations. I don't know anybody that can talk as much as you. Seriously, I thought I could talk. You are unreal. But you do it with class, understanding, professionalism. You're simply amazing. I told you that when I first met you, and you ran off my autobiography. It basically was a book. It was simply fantastic. And to think that you do that every show.
The greatest wealth is when you can share it with someone. You can share your victories, you can share your failure, you can express your deepest feelings, but the greatest wealth is to be able to say that I have a friend. And I feel an unbelievable level of wealth. And a lot of that is because I have somebody like you.
I don't take this man for granted as a friend. I don't take him for granted as a brother. And I will say that because who knows what tomorrow brings. And I appreciate you for who you are, Del, wholeheartedly. The floor is yours solo.
Well, thank you, Avi. I appreciate that, and the feeling's mutual. I appreciate you for who you are.
I just think it's going to be, a lot of fun for people. I don't think there's nothing like this on the air. I don't think really. No, there isn't. I just think it's going to be I'm very interested in how people respond to it. Because I know it's going to be interesting, and see if people tune in and stay tuned in. And I really hope they do. And I'm all yours, bro. Let's go out and make this work. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Thank you for being you, my friend. I appreciate you and respect you wholeheartedly.
And that goes double for me to you, Avi.
Guys and gals and pals, welcome to the green room. And industrial-sized air conditioners at your favorite B&B in Alaska would be rendered obsolete after witnessing that intro, because we're all fired up. That much is a fact. You've all experienced luminary after luminary enter this virtual arena. Indeed, this tournament is quite stacked. I dubbed this vision of mine edutainment because I place emphasis on the entertainment and education. Because on this station, we celebrate those that are passionate about their vocation. And this format is anything but the same old. So I thank you for embracing the innovation and expressing your constant elation when taking in the most star-studded tournament of them all, a place where competitors convey their level of admiration while we marvel at their information, passion, and perspiration when observing this wide array of talent that make up the population of strong-minded thinkers that enlighten us, which is why I subscribe to conversation, because listening and applying is how we get to our destination. We're all so much closer than we are apart, which is why this show offers a demonstration of what's right about us as a society. So for the new viewers out there who have a fascination, sit back and enjoy as I put a cap on this verbal dissertation. Let's keep doing what we do and realize that our motto isn't some Sherlock Holmes mystery. A legendary director of Superman fame, my mentor told me years ago, write your own history. Teaching history and screenwriting for the very best was one thing, but sharing your history is an honor. That mentor I refer to lives in my heart daily. His name was Richard Donner. So let's sit back and realize what we've witnessed here in this tournament oh so grand, where 131 Hall of Famers and Hollywood Award winners and nominees own this land as we discover and rediscover our humanity through open dialogue and expand. So be prepared to give a hand to competitors that are about to work their sweat gland, all the while our attention they command. With 15 grand and a 5-day and 5-night trip to Greece on the line, one can't forget about the pride and the prize. So with that, let's all rise and reprise our roles as educational voyeurs that never chastise or agonize, but rather revel in our beautiful reality without needing a disguise. Here on this network, we're allergic to lies. The bard, Mr. Shakespeare, once said, "It is not in the stars to hold our destiny, but in ourselves." So if you love something, don't hate others that do, because doing is the sweet nectar that is most rewarding. Take a moment to breathe, admire your desire to aspire, because if you don't, life will be but a blur. Of this I'm sure, so never hate the flower for starting out as a seed. Long distance running is essential. This isn't a stampede, so don't run anyone over on your way to the top. Focus on yourself and never forget to cheer lead. Root for your loved ones and lift people up. This human fortune cookie hopes that we've all agreed that positivity is something we can never concede. So guys, with that, I want to bring in our first participant right now. We can't change the direction of the wind, but we can adjust the sails to always reach our destination. Respect for ourselves guides our morals. Respect for others guides our manners. Speaking about respect, I have a great deal of respect for our first participant. She's class personified. She's down to earth, and she's genuine. She's eloquent, intelligent, and has a kind heart as well. She is more, without question, than merely her profession. Guys and gals and pals, if you will, please take a look.
Reconstruct myself as a 14-year-old based on my excruciating memories of being that age. And one concern I had was the voice, and I went to a few classes at LaGuardia High School for that age group, and what I discovered was that there's such a range. Some kids sound like kids, some kids sound like adults. So then I just let Kiri have the voice that she has. You know, I had to achieve some things and develop them before I got to the set to really let go and be that age. I think that's true. I think every decade you just become a little bit more like, I'm me. Yeah. You just own it more. Yeah.
Making them leave the home and in some cases be on the streets or take care of themselves. I pray every day that I don't have to do that, but I've seen it play out in such a positive way that people learn from it. You know, they see me and they see.
She was born in Glendale, California and grew up in Arizona. Years later, she would inspire the masses like the Dream Team in Barcelona or Juliet turning heads in the streets of Verona. She began her career when she was 8 years old, filming close to a dozen television commercials. For many kids, this meant no Little League, but rather a bevy of auditions and rehearsals. She was always a ham as a kid and had no fear. So when she was 7, she told her mom that she wanted to get into acting. Good for her, as our passion is never distracting. As human beings, we're always adapting. Like an extroverted chameleon, spitting rhymes, admit, guys and gals, that would have you reacting. Her mom took her seriously and she got a manager. and that manager then got her an agent, but the neon lights didn't initially scream gold. She auditioned 300 times a year and did 9 national commercials when she was just 8 years old. First commercial was a Japanese cookie commercial with Karen Grassel, who was the mom on Little House on the Prairie. Her mom said, "You got me into this, so keep going," as her second commercial was a Tonka Toys commercial called Star Fairy. She was learning the craft while most kids were picking their nose watching Tom and Jerry. She also did a Squeeze-A-Drink commercial, and in case you're wondering, she grew up on a ranch and was a barrel racer, but she was built for the marathon as her future was anything but bleak. She was a contestant on Bob Eubank's Card Sharks during Young People's Week. What am I, speaking Greek? No, but she might if she wins this tournament, as she has the technique, like the 85 dunk contest won by the legendary Dominique. She won the title of Miss California Preteen in 1988 and debuted in a guest starring role in the comedy Living Doll starring Halle Berry. Soon her face would be on magazines worldwide opposite others such as Tiffany Thiessen and Luke Perry. She appeared on Blossom, Step by Step, Boy Meets World, with a first big guest spot on The Wonder Years. Guys and gals, in September of 92, she landed a particular role that inspired the one and only Britney Spears. That of the pop-singing, guitar-playing surfer Tiffany Smith on the NBC Saturday morning teen comedy California Dreams, which took off like this flow, or the 21st emergence of crypto. It was about a high school beach band, and she was on for 5 seasons on this particular show. She went on to Baywatch for 2 seasons as a regular cast member, and during her time on Baywatch as April Gaminsky, she was the spokesperson for the show's Shoe Line. She's all about her family, as an animal lover, which speaks to yours truly, Avi Klein. Whether it was her role on Baywatch, which was always on the telly, or publications which were sold in newsstands in your local deli, her impact has been huge, like a certain character written by Mary Shelley. So get ready, look up, put those snacks in your belly, and raise the roof like an early 21st century Nelly, and welcome a kind, humble, positive human being. Last name Packard. First name Kelly. Kelly, welcome to round 2 of the tournament, my friend.
Thank you so much once again for that incredible introduction.
You deserve every bit of it. I'm always excited to see you. Man, Kelly, you were in the second round reveal show. You find out you were going up against, of course, John O'Hurley. Great living room conversations. What I like about what we do here is we dub it competitive camaraderie, but there's no malice. In this virtual palace, all we do here is learn from one another. I love that. But Kelly, at the end of the day, our viewers, they're the ones who vote. 2 out of 3 will advance tonight. I have to ask you the same question I ask. 15 grand, 5-day trip for Greece. Are you here to win it all, my friend?
You know, I am not going to hide it. I would love to go to Greece for my 50th birthday. So yes, I'm here to win it.
I love it. Kelly, I got to say this as well. There is a great documentary about Baywatch out right now. Can you tell the viewers a bit more about it?
Absolutely. So on Hulu, it's called After Baywatch, and it is a 4-part series, and they really delve into some of the cool stories that people don't know about Baywatch. I had the luxury of being interviewed 5 years ago for it, but I'm in there and I talk about my experiences, and it's just really eye-opening, and especially with the passing of Mike Newman, who was a lifeguard on the show and a lifeguard in real life, the real deal. It's watching his story and him suffering with Parkinson's. It tugs at the heartstrings. So it's a really good watch.
I really recommend that everybody really sinks their teeth into this documentary. No doubt about it. Easy to find as well. My friend, I'll put you backstage momentarily.
Okay.
Guys and gals, great human being, great talent, Kelly Packard. I'm going to bring in Matt Hughes right now, guys. Matt, if you can unmute your microphone in the back, I will be appreciative of that. Matt Hughes, guys, is coming up next. And again, when bringing in Matt Hughes, guys, I think of a few words like enthusiasm. That might be common, but endurance is rare. The human capacity for burden is like bamboo, far more flexible than you'd ever believe at first glance. And indeed, this participant is as resilient as one can imagine. His body of work only takes a backseat to his optimistic approach to life. Purpose is the reason why we do what we do. Intention focuses attention to make things happen. And this man has made many great things happen, both inside and outside the octagon of life. Guys and gals and pals, please take a look at the following.
Work your ass off. There is no magic pill. It drives me crazy to go to the gym. You reach 1 hour a day. I went and worked out 5 hours a day, and I was working on construction with 24 hours a day. Organize your day. Work hard. I'm here to talk about success. I went to college. I went and worked out 5 hours a day. And I was working on construction. Because in those days in bodybuilding, there was no money. I didn't have the money for food supplements or anything. So I had to go to work. So I worked on construction. I went to college. I worked out in the gym, and at night from 8 o'clock at night to 12 midnight, I went to acting class. See, if you don't have a vision of where you go, and if you don't have a goal where you go, you drift around and you never end up anywhere.
Shoot Dana, tell me who it is. I'd call my best friend as I say, tell those 4 or 5 people I love them. I tell her I love her. And she runs everything for me, so I would tell her I appreciate all the work she puts into me for just being my friend. So.
Guys and gals, the man is the epitome of resiliency. There's no doubt about that. Also a genuine human being with a kind heart who's given back. He was born and raised in Hillsborough, a small town with a population of 4,500 that is located in south central Illinois. Hard work and discipline were instilled in him even when he was a little boy. And even before he dominated the octagon, he was the real McCoy. His father, Russell, was a farmer, a truck driver, and served in the U.S. Army from 59 to 62. He was a member of the Montgomery County Farm Bureau long before his son's legend grew and grew. Our participant worked hard on the farm and other farms that his father volunteered him to work on. Many kids would have thought that would be quite the bummer. In the 70s, there were no Roundup beans, so he walked beans every day in the summer. He worked, guys and gals, cattle, as his father had about 100 cattle at the farm's peak. The man doesn't understand the meaning of the word weak, as he made countless opponents shriek, and he may win this celebrity tournament and visit that beautiful country where they speak Greek. From working on the Monster Mall, which is all steel, to sitting down with his family at dinner for a warm, hearty meal. At 5th grade, his coach watched him play basketball. He was rather physical, so he told him he got into the wrong sport. As he matured, wrestling became primary. Thank goodness for all those kids who continued to play on the basketball court. As those in the octagon that faced him all wished they could teleport as they stumbled and fumbled and bumbled and grumbled like an early 80s character portrayed by Martin Short. His participation in sports was quite limited while in junior high. He was part of the inter-school wrestling tournament in a couple of weeks of 6th grade track, but soon he became more popular than a charming British spy and more disciplined than a lifelong samurai as they chant his name from Mumbai to Uruguay. In high school, he played running back and linebacker for the Toppers, and in his senior year, he ran for over 800 yards. He earned all conference honors, but being the best in another tough sport was definitely in the cards. On the wrestling mat, he found his home. He qualified for state as a freshman in the 135-pound class on the wrestling team. He went to Lincoln Junior College, had a coach that would always tell anyone, raise your self-esteem. His name was Dave Clem, and he made sure that our legend, guys and gals, tonight was always revered as quite the class. It was quite obvious to many that his opponents would break like glass because this man definitely knew how to kick some ass. Next up was Eastern Illinois University, where he was a 2-time NCAA Division I All-American. On the mat, he was tougher to figure out than 1940 or 1840 to 1880 Trail of Oregon. National Wrestling Hall of Famer Ralph McCausland was his coach, so he was around the very best. Each of the 4 years he wrestled in college, he earned All-American honors. Surely I do not jest. Once his collegiate eligibility ran out, he became an assistant wrestling coach, never backing down from challenges and willing himself to perseverance was always his approach. He was working as an electrician's apprentice, and in 1996, his friend Chris Dwyer approached him to fight at a small show at Madonna High School. He won his first fight, earning $100 in the process, and although that was pretty cool, the UFC would recognize him as a crown jewel. After teaming up with manager Monty Cox, he soon found himself fighting on the foreign soils of Japan, Kuwait, Abu Dhabi, and Great Britain, as well as from coast to coast in Hawaii in his home country. He made his UFC debut defeating Valery Ignatov and wasn't even close, guys and gals, to put it bluntly. It's time to bring up his amazing accolades and accomplishments that make him the most successful and accomplished UFC legend of all time. He's a 9-time UFC World Welterweight Champion. Woo! He finished with an outstanding record of 45-9. He's a member of 2 very prestigious Halls of Fame. He's a member of the very prestigious National Wrestling Hall of Fame. He's also a member of the UFC Hall of Fame and was only the 8th person at the time to receive such an honor. He's also a member of the NJCAA Hall of Fame. During his reign, he was considered the #1 pound-for-pound mixed martial artist in the world. He was also regarded by analysts and several media outlets as one of the greatest welterweight fighters of all time, as well as one of the greatest pound-for-pound fighters in the sport's history. In 2008, he published his autobiography, Made in America, which made the New York Times bestseller list. And in 2011, he became host of Outdoor Channel's Trophy Hunters TV. He has the most knockouts in title fights in UFC welterweight division history. He has the most submissions in title fights in UFC welterweight division history. He was Sports Illustrated #3 fighter of the decade for the decade of 2000s. He beat the very best, but his biggest win was yet to come, despite the rain. He spent 19 days in a coma after his truck was hit by a train. He had the worst brain injury possible, a brain bleed, and the outlook was rather grim. But he managed to survive his brush with death, despite the odds being rather slim. He had to start all over and relearn how to walk, talk, and function normally. It will be my pleasure in a moment to greet this man warmly. This is a man that most certainly always made his opponent go splat. He ranks #1 in nearly every stat. Even Dracula would shake and turn into a bat, as this man was already ready for combat. So put your hands together for one of the greatest, a humble, kind human being. Last name Hughes. First name Matt. Matt, welcome, my friend, to round 2 of the celebrity tournament. If you could just unmute your microphone, my friend. There we go.
How you guys doing? I'm sorry it was me. I'm not a tech guy. I'm a puncher, not tech guy. So I first time doing this app.
Absolutely, and you're doing just great. I'm so happy you're with us tonight. If you remember, you made it to round 2 of this celebrity tournament, my friend, where the winner of the entire tournament wins 15 grand and a trip for 2 to Greece. Matt, are you here to win it all, my friend?
Yeah. My theory is, if I don't think I can win, I won't play the game. So, of course, I'm going to win the whole thing.
I love it, man. I love that you're here. You are class personified. You give a lot back to the youth. I'm really glad you're here, my friend. And again, thank you for once again showing us a different side of the UFC, the human side, the humane side, because you and a lot of others give back. I'm going to put you backstage for one brief moment, bring in John O'Hurley, and we'll go on with the festivities.
That sounds good.
Thank you, my friend. Guys, Matt Hughes, a Hall of Fame person and a Hall of Famer, of course, in the octagon. There's no doubt about that. Guys and gals, we're happy to have Matt and Kelly and the following gentlemen as well, guys and gals. When I think of him, I think of the word storytelling. I don't like the word acting. That's just me. Storytelling reveals meaning without committing the error of defining it. And our third and final participant this evening is a man of honor, respect, dignity, and virtue. Time and again, he's filled a blank canvas with beautiful works of art that go several layers of magnitude deep. He's found the similarity in what is apparently different, and then finding himself there in all of his roles. Do you know what that's called, guys and gals and pals, in my humble opinion? It's called honest and truthful storytelling. And through his works of art, we, the audience, have benefited greatly. So guys and gals and pals, if you will, right now, please take a look at the following.
Until you've had that experience, you don't understand what dealing with an audience is. Nowadays, everything is a happy ending, you see. In television, everything is happy. The commercial is happy. In other words, you get the right soap suds and the husband loves you again. You know, your cake gets moist and all your troubles are over, you see. The car chase finishes, the villains are dead. In 1 hour, everything is solved, you see. We live in a world of happy endings with audiences who make every show, no matter how doomed it is and ready to be canceled, sound like a smash hit. And if it doesn't have a smash hit, in the situation comedies, you know, they have a little black box full of laughter. And they add that to the jokes. And you know that most of the people laughing on that box died long ago.
Guys and gals and pals, I want to bring in right now an absolute legend of film, TV, and stage. Our third participant was born in Kittery, Maine, the son of Gene and George, who raised 5 children. George, guys and gals, was an ear, nose, and throat surgeon. As early as 3 years old, this luminary's talent seemed visible, guys and gals, to burgeon. His father earned his medical degree from Jefferson Medical College of Philadelphia before serving for 3 years in the U.S. Navy, as he was cool, calm, and never nervous. He served in the Korean War and advanced to the rank of lieutenant. I truly thank him for his service. It was at age 3 that our current luminary knew that he wanted to be an actor, and he would express his elation. He would imitate his childhood idol Lloyd Bridges, who was quite the sensation after watching episodes of Sea Hunt, which from 58 to 61 was sweeping the nation. Do you want an example of tonight's luminary and his early imagination? He would reenact scenes in the bathtub while dressed in Speedos, goggles, and his father's basketball shoes for flippers. This would have brought joy to anyone's heart, even angry skippers or a depressed crowd taking in the 1980s Los Angeles Clippers. He also developed his sense of humor quite early, making his parents laugh with a decidedly humorous guffaw of his own. When asked what he'd do when he grew up, he would let it be known. As an actor, he'd say, not because he wanted to be, but rather because he already was. He did plays in the basement for his parents, and anything he did always had a performance attachment to it. His musical instruments and the talent shows. These are the timeless moments that are as memorable as the scent of a musky rose, or perhaps a rare victory belonging to those Bills from Buffaloes. Such are the daily woes, I suppose. Freshman year of high school was the first time he was in a school play. In his senior year before graduation, Cardinal Gibbons High School is where he would stay, as he offered audiences an artistic buffet through his honest and truthful storytelling, so as his Cafe Carlisle Cabaret. Before graduating in 72, he joined the golf team and played a little basketball, but he gorged himself on his childhood love of acting. His love for the craft and seamless transitions into a bevy of characters was quite enchanting. He appeared in the school's productions of The Doctor, In Spite of Himself, The Chalk Garden, and one-man shows that often involve pantomime. He reminds students to this very day that it isn't a crime to let go and absorb the wonder of it all and have a good time. I concur as I tell my students that we make discoveries rather than mistakes. Don't forget to look when you climb. His family returned to the Hartford area the following year, but by the time he left for Providence College to major in theater and opera, his course was set. Many actors are afraid of debt. As life happens, he went into advertising and public relations right out of college because the business of acting is sometimes something to fret, like cable without Ethernet or missing a violin in a string quartet. He resigned from his post in public relations, went to New York and booked his first show 48 hours after he arrived, and he's never looked back since 1981. He was committed to success, and his passion took off, never to be outdone. His parents dropped him off on 79th in Amsterdam at a single-room occupancy hotel filled with roaches, and a quarter of the bed was missing, as though someone had taken a bite out of it. They then realized that he was serious about acting as his profession. Despite the initial lack of progression and possible depression, one thing was imminent, that this was his ascension. It was all about theater. It was all about singing. It was all about Broadway. That was the focus in New York. Then there was this thing called daytime TV. That came to light, portraying the role of Greg Schaefer in 1983 for ABC's The Edge of Night. He started his daytime career there along with doing theater, but Lady Luck sometimes isn't a four-leaf clover. He realized if he went to TV on the other coast, he could take the decimal point and move it over one spot over. His resume is vast and diverse. I first recall seeing him on screen portraying Dolan in a project written by the great Mr. Vidal, first name Gore. It starred Val Kilmer's Billy the Kid, and it covered all things Lincoln County War. This Renaissance man has done it all. The original King Neptune on SpongeBob SquarePants, hosting the iconic game show Family Feud from 2006 to 2010, and one of the winners of Dancing with the Stars. The love for his late sister Carol, who died at age 17, at her last day of junior high in 70, is absolute and unconditional. He gave his heart, and for that I give him a round of applause. He's become a national spokesperson for epilepsy, raised awareness, and much more. It's such an important cause. His iconic portrayal of catalog owner Jay Peterman was not only about language, he was about the long form. He reminds us to lead with our passion and make that the norm. Honest storytelling and exploration is a refreshing way to perform. So with that, let's get it on. As I bring in a gentleman that is known from the Yukon to San Juan. They cheer him on like Ray Allen kicking butt in Yukon. He can discuss Tchaikovsky's ballet about a certain swan. I'm about to bring him in. That's a conclusion that is foregone. So welcome a kind, talented, humble, down-to-earth human being. Last name O'Hurley. First name John. Welcome, my friend, to round 2 of the celebrity tournament.
Well, thank you, Avi, very much for that warm welcome. And with your permission, if you don't mind, I'd like to begin again and reintroduce myself. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the man who killed Seinfeld. In a career that began some 40 years ago with a badly lip-synced version of The Yellow Rose of Texas for a K-Tel record commercial of Mitch Miller's greatest hits. Since then, he's managed to kill 3 series of his own, 4 soap operas. He's guest starred on more than 50 television shows. Not one is still on the air. And during Sweeps, the golden week of television ratings, he managed to take not 1, not 2, but 3 shows off the air in 1 week. Ellen, Seinfeld, and Damon. Ladies and gentlemen, the Grim Reaper of television, John O'Hurley. Thank you.
I love that, Mr. O'Hurley. Thank you, guys. I want to bring in Kelly Packard right now. I want to bring in Mr. Matt Hughes. Guys, thank you again. If you could unmute, I'd appreciate that, Matt and Kelly. We're going to start off with topic number 1, but very quickly, this is first for Mr. John O'Hurley because we have, Yes. 131 Hall of Famers from the world of sports, music, pro wrestling, not to mention Oscar, Grammy, Tony, Emmy, Golden Globe, AMA, and WJ Olympians, guys and gals, all competing for the pride of the prize, but it's not really the size. Guys and gals, take a look in my eyes right now really briefly. We are going to bring in right now, pre-recorded, a message from a friend of Mr. O'Hurley's who's in this tournament, who recently advanced to round number 3 with a message to Mr. O'Hurley.
Avi, this is Stephen Tobolowsky in Woodstock, New York. Can you believe it? Yeah, I'm playing an old hippie who came to the music festival and never left. But I'm here today to welcome my bud, my friend John O'Hurley, to the tournament. John, you're in it to win it. Let me tell you something about Avi's tournament. It's not just about what's here, but it's what's here and what's here. And John has it all. Let me tell you, he's an expert on so many things you would not even imagine. So here's my advice. Matt Hughes, never lower your guard, because John O'Hurley knows literature and science and poetry like the bard. That's shades of Avi, I'm sorry. And Kelly, even though John is not as beautiful and charming and smart as you, he almost is. John is one of the most handsome people I ever met in my life, and the first time I ever worked with him, he had no pants. So I know what I'm talking about. John, you're in it to win it. I believe in you, and most of all, have fun tonight. My love to you and to you all. This is Tobo signing off.
Oh, that breaks my heart. That's wonderful. Thank you.
How long do you, Mr. Tobolowsky, go back about?
Back right before Seinfeld, we did a series together called A Whole New Ball Game, and we played the worst anchor team on television. And Stephen played the weatherman. I played I was the anchor man, and Corbin Burnson was the sports guy, and we were as bad as it gets. But we had more fun, and it was one of the funniest shows I've ever done. And it was when they canceled that show on a Wednesday morning, Thursday morning, I was over on Seinfeld.
Wow. That is incredible.
Isn't that something?
Hughes, much like Mr. O'Hurley has a fan in Stephen Tobolowsky, you have a fan as well that wants to give you some words of encouragement.
Matt, Tank Abbott here. I just heard from Avi that you're in the tournament. Glad to hear you're doing good, and go out and kick some ass like you did in the octagon. Good luck to you, but I hope you do good, but not as good as me, because I want to go to Greece. Anyways, man, good luck to you, and kick some ass.
Mr. Tank Abbott, a very big fan of yours.
Tank's a good guy. I've been around him a bit.
Without question. Yeah, Tank just advanced to round number 3 recently. And Matt, again, a lot of great support from this great community, Mr. Tank Abbott being one of them. And speaking of someone who's shown support and was chomping at the bit to show Kelly Packard some support, guys and gals, a friend of Kelly's, a friend of mine as well, this gentleman right now with some encouraging words.
Packard support video. I love all of you guys. Everybody, congratulations for getting this far. But, I got to be Team Kelly on this one. You can do it, girl.
Mr. Jeremy London, guys and gals. They thought that we need controversy. And I said, no. We can do conversation without controversy and still make sure that there's enough pomp and circumstance, but plenty more substance. And we have that here, thanks to people like John O'Hurley, Kelly Packard, and Mr. Matt Hughes. This is called Parental Plight. I want to delve into this. I think of H.P. Lovecraft. I remember what he said once. He said the oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear, and the oldest and strongest kind of fear is fear of the unknown. In an evolutionary sense, fear is meant to keep us safe. As parents, though, fear often emerges when we're driven to keep those we love most safe. And as Lovecraft pointed out, the feeling of fear is an intense one. It can elicit a full body response. It could take hold of our thoughts and our nervous system, refusing to be ignored. Fear is natural and often inevitable. But like our knee-jerk reaction to our children's affinity for video games, can we truly control how we respond to it? To everyone watching right now, I'm going to kick it off first to Mr. O'Hurley, and then Kelly Packard, and then Matt Hughes. John, what was/is your most irrational parenting fear, and are there steps to overcome such fear? The floor is yours whenever you're ready, good sir.
Well, it is. I come from a history of a difficult, I would say, difficult parenting as the result of having lost a family member. The most intrinsic fear that any parent has is the injury or the loss of a child. It's irreplaceable. You cannot fathom the depth of hurt that goes on when you lose a child, and yet so many people have done that. That happened to us in our family back in 1970. My sister had epilepsy. She was a year older than I was. She was my best friend. And the last day of school, her junior year, my father, who was the chief of staff at a hospital in Hartford, Connecticut, as you mentioned during the introduction, went in to wake her up. And all I can tell you is I heard a scream in that house that I hope I never hear again. It was the fact that he tried to save her as she was gently passing on at the time. She was diagnosed with epilepsy back as a young girl and carried that with her. And unfortunately, back then, there were very few regimens that allowed you to control your seizures. And so she was without a therapeutic regimen at the time. And during that time, that sadly that night had an epileptic seizure and passed away. It changed the dynamic of our family. And more to the point of what we're talking about parenting fears is that you pass on, unless it is dealt with, you pass on the fear to the next generation. And we felt that in our family, that in our parents' grief and our grief as well, they tried to consciously make the boundaries smaller, as though they could control the loss of another child. And the dynamic never worked, and it caused a great deal of difficulty in our family. Not to blame my parents at all, but to almost embrace them so that I could understand the difficulty that they went through. Losing that child was irreplaceable, and they would not have it again. So all of our lives got immediately smaller. We had to come in earlier. We couldn't stay out at parties. All of the things that come with kind of cutting the umbilical cord and allowing your children to expand into the world, those were not available to us. We were kept close to the house because of that fear of the undertow, we'll call it, that fear of loss. It is an impenetrable fear, and unless it's confronted, it will repeat itself. And fortunately, I was able to confront it. And so that now we have one child, my wife and I, and oddly enough, he's 17 years old. And at the age of 15, he told us that he wanted to become a pilot. Well, you can imagine the chagrin of parents saying, we're going to send you up in a little tube in the air at 15 years old, and somehow that's going to be all right. But I also remember that growing up, I said, I will not make my child's life small. My son, I will cut that umbilical cord every day of my life if I have to, and keep cutting it and keep cutting it and keep cutting it until he is free to fly to the sun, like the Greek gods. And that is my goal. It was so difficult to watch my parents suffer the last part of their life with a loss that they were never able to confront. It is a joy in my life to be able to appreciate my son's passion and not be overcome by the fear that my parents were, and allow him to explore this incredible world that he now sees above him at 10,000 feet. So that's what I would say. Irrational fear unattended repeats itself and carries on generation after generation. Confronted once, it dissipates. And I love my parents dearly, and I hope they are resting quietly now, finally, in solace from that awful tragedy that happened to us so many years ago.
Thanks for sharing that, because keeping people alive, making sure their legacy is still present and not past, is maybe considered an obligation by a lot of family members that want people to know their story. And you've, if I'm not mistaken, John, was your late sister a year older than you?
She was just a touch over a year older than me. Yes, we were best friends. You know, back then when you're 16 and 17, you know, it's kind of you and me against the world, and that's kind of what that was our relationship. And we were impenetrable. Just you couldn't replace our friendship. So the loss to me was inestimable.
I can't even imagine that, to lose a sibling. Much like yourself, my brother and I were close for many years. If I'm not mistaken, it was during the time when you were starring in Seinfeld that there was mounting public interest in neurological diseases, but maybe not enough. Do you feel like being able to advocate on behalf of people with epilepsy during that time allowed the families to learn more about epilepsy and the public in general?
Well, I really appreciate you bringing this up, because I've become national spokesman for epilepsy. Why, you ask? Not because I have it, but because my sister did. I'm speaking up because no one in Hollywood will. Any other actor who has epilepsy will not discuss it. There's a black cloud over neurological disorders, as there is in the schoolyard or anywhere where you'll see a seizure happen. There is a black cloud that hangs over that person and their circumstance. And it's so difficult for them, and it's so difficult for us as a society to deal with when no one will talk about it. There are only, when my sister was alive, there were only two different medicines that were available. One of them was from Civil War era. The other one was from the early 1920s. Those were the two regimens that one would treat epilepsy. Today, there are 31. Wow. And there are a host of different surgical procedures. There are all sorts of other ways for people to alleviate the seizures and also control their seizures. So the world of epilepsy has changed. I'd like to think that a lot of it came from a lot of the work that we've done. I've raised more money in epilepsy than anybody I think I know.
Sure.
But I'm dedicated to it, and it's been a 20-year commitment that I've had. But we've had a lot of success, and we've been able to get the word that it's not something that you need to be afraid of, and parents don't need to think that they've had their last full night of sleep again. It's something that can be dealt with and should be.
What a gift to give back to your sister, to give back to others. You participated, John, in a partnership initiative, if I'm not mistaken, with several chapters of the American Epilepsy Society, and funded a day camp in San Diego for children who had epilepsy.
Yeah, I did, and I also have several golf tournaments around the country. We raise a significant amount of money every year, but mostly for parents. The whole purpose of it is so, because once your child is diagnosed with epilepsy, you don't know where to turn. You are in the dark.
Sure.
And I make that quip about the fact that is the last night that you'll ever spend sleeping soundly, and that's true. You sleep with one foot on the floor, so that you don't go through the same situation that we did, that sense of sudden, unexplained death in epilepsy.
Do you think that stigma continues to be a big problem?
It will always be a problem. And because neurological disorders have that other sense of scariness. And if you've been in the schoolyard and a child, and because, a significant number, 3 million people in the country have epilepsy, and a significant number of children have it. You'll see an epileptic seizure in a schoolyard.
Sure.
And it's the most horrific thing you've seen next to a heart attack.
Wow.
Where the spasmodic gyrations, the shaking and the salivating, and for kids to see this, it's the scariest thing they've ever seen. Well, that child will be marked from then on, and kids
can be cruel.
And kids can be kind, and they can be cruel, and their cruelty is easier for them to deal with than their kindness.
Thankfully, your sister, she was popular, so maybe no one, in her case, people didn't think differently of her.
But we were really, thank you, Avi. We were really blessed that she was a very popular girl in class. So the several seizures that she had during her school days were manageable. Kids didn't punish her. or they didn't, mark her as strange. She was
Sure.
a very, very active girl, very popular in all activities and socially as well. So when she died, it was an extraordinary loss to the school, and not something to look at and say, "Well, that was weird." I mean, she had that thing.
Right.
It was something that everyone, even to this day, and I mean even to several weeks ago when I was back doing a concert in the Hartford area, and someone came up and mentioned that they had gone to school with my sister, and they certainly remember the day that she had passed. And
Oh, wow.
yeah. So
Wow,
the memory abides.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I love how you always remind everybody that epilepsy was just something that she happened to have. It didn't define her, but you remind people that as caregivers, it's important to make sure that the people around the person with a disorder knows exactly what might happen.
Mm-hmm. It is indeed, and the object is to really keep the person safe. Epilepsy, very simply, is like your laptop crashing.
Right.
It's as simple and explicable as that. It will reboot. Just give it an opportunity, and all things will be fine.
That's such a good way of putting
it. But it is the easiest way to look at it, and most people get a little frightened because of the spasmodic behavior.
Right.
But all you need to do is just keep them safe. Don't let them injure themselves, and that's usually the secret to simple first aid when you view an epileptic seizure.
Wow. Thank you for bringing this up, because I know there's a lot of viewers out there. When we were first here in round number 1, when you were on with Calvin Murphy and Joseph Rood, and you touched upon this, that we had viewers who mentioned that either they or family members and friends were dealing with epilepsy, and they related to it. They related to your story. So thank you again for touching upon something that, as you mentioned, not many luminaries will. Guys and gals and pals who are listening and watching, absolutely. Right now, this is a question I'm sure you guys can all relate to. A lot of parents there. There's a lot of fear and stigma and things outside of our control. I'll ask Kelly the same question, and then Mr. Matt Hughes. Kelly, what was/is your most irrational parenting fear, and are there steps to overcome such fear? Whenever you're ready, my friend.
I would like to start by thanking John for his comments, and it is really easy to forget that we're in this competition forum, because I just want to hear him talk, and I just want to listen, and I just want to take all that I can in. So having said that, I think the hard part of that question is determining what is irrational versus the real fears that we as parents face every day, every minute of every day. And I would say that my most irrational parenting fear is that one or more, I have 4 children, of my children will resent me for things that I can't control or things that I can't see happening. I worry that the choices that I make every day, with the best of intentions, mind you, they're going to have an impact on my kids, and they may struggle with it later. So I know that is irrational, because I'm doing my best. I'm doing the best that I can as a mom, but the worry sneaks in all the time that everything that I do, every choice I make throughout the day, every choice that goes with parenting and doesn't go with parenting, it's going to shape their view of me as a mom and of themselves. And so that's a lot to take on. And I decided that whoever coined the phrase mom guilt is a genius, because it is a very real thing. And it is an example of how we can overthink things as moms. And I want to just add that I am grateful that I didn't let that fear debilitate my choice to become a mom. And I have a close friend that did not decide to have children. And when I asked her very, very sincerely why, she said it was because she was afraid she was going to mess up her kids. And if we all really felt that, none of us would be parents, because I came from an incredibly dysfunctional family background. And if I would have let that dictate who I was going to be as a parent, I would have never had kids. And so I'm grateful that it's a fear that I wasn't at least debilitated by, but I do do think about it a lot, and I worry a lot. I hope that my kids can see that I'm doing the best that I can, and that my choices and my decisions on how to parent them are not trying to mess them up. Sincerely. And I have 4 kids ranging from 6th grade to a junior in college. And I think that some of them would think that I have not done the best job, but others would think that I'm doing all right. So I don't know. See, that mom guilt just kicks in all the time.
Absolutely. But, Kelly, you brought this up. If anyone had any right to, I always say I'd rather be sappy than cynical. If anyone had a right to be cynical, it's you, because of, as you mentioned, your upbringing. I'm not going to delve into that, but how important is it to find someone, and this is for Kelly, Matt, and for John, I'd like to get your guys' take on this. How important is it to find someone who speaks your language so that you don't have to spend your entire life translating your soul to other people?
Do you mean as far as in a spouse? Because I know when my husband and I came together,
right.
We decided, well, by the way, I was 19 when I met him. We decided very early on that because we both came from very dysfunctional backgrounds, that we were going to stop and make our future different and change things that were, detrimental to us. And we've stayed together through thick and thin because of that pact.
Sure.
It's not easy. He's an ER doctor and works ridiculous hours.
Sure.
I'm an artist. And so our lives are very different, but we decided early on that we were going to do it for our posterity and change things moving forward. And our kids have no idea how good they have it based on how we had it.
Oh, I see. Okay. So they're not privy to that. I see what you mean.
They are, because we have shared. We're not going to keep it from them. Well, some of it we haven't shared. In fact, some of it I don't even know. Like my husband hasn't fully shared some of his trauma. But we definitely try to explain to our kids that they have it really good. But they'll probably walk away and think that they, don't.
Do you think sometimes that it's tough for a parent to be able to sort of escape their past, knowing that maybe their parents weren't well equipped, maybe their upbringing, of course, was filled with turmoil? Is it tougher to have that sort of pressure, like a dark cloud hanging over you, as you alluded to? Or do you think there's a lot more pressure? It maybe depends, it's situational, but do you think it could also be just as pressuresome, at least, to have a lot of responsibility and expectations that are coming from the picture-perfect Walton type family? We know many people who probably come from that sort of family. Of course, there's always dysfunction behind closed doors, but could that be just as pressuresome as well?
Well, I'll chime in right there. I think it's imperative that current parents heal the wounds of the past.
Sure.
That you take a leap to say, my child will not live in fear. I did everything I possibly could to, let me just say that my wife, we did everything we possibly could to make sure that my son grew up unafraid. I would take him out when I would host these Hollywood award shows and what have you. That anywhere I went, I would have him on stage with me.
Sure.
To host the show.
Wow.
He was 7 years old, dressed in a tuxedo, and he's hosting the 100th anniversary of the Technological Awards in Hollywood. He's there talking about artificial reality or augmented reality.
Sure.
And he's on stage, and he's talking, and he's reading the teleprompter. And I said, and meanwhile, backstage before he went on, I found him in a corner going, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. And I wanted to burst out into tears watching him do his self-talk.
Wow.
Cutting as I say, you have to learn to be able to cut the umbilical cord. That's why we're here to be parents. And we're not here to be their best friends. We're here to just cut the umbilical cord and let them fly.
Man, oh man, guys, again, voting, it's going to be tough. And remember, voting is a great thing here because you're not voting for who's better. No, nobody's better than anybody here. We're all very, very human, just like you. And this show essentially was brought together because I wanted to create a strong friendship because I feel like that's what the crux of this tournament is all about. It's about humanity. So guys and gals, I'll ask Mr. Matt Hughes the same question I asked Mr. John O'Hurley, Mrs. Kelly Packard. Matt, what was or is your most irrational parenting fear? And are there steps to overcome such fear, my friend?
My thing is, I think about outliving my kids. If I outlive my kids, I'm not a happy camper. But I was raised where I made mistakes, and I learned from my mistakes. So when I was a kid on a farm, we ran around and did whatever we wanted, and my mom was unloading a wagon of grain, and my brother got caught in it and went and got sucked down in the grain bin. I remember taking my right arm around his neck, and my left arm was grabbing a chain run across there, and my mom went and got my mom shut the tractor off, shut the wagon off, and she went and got my dad. My dad tried pulling me and Mark out of the wagon, and he couldn't do it. So he thought he was going to pull us in half and not pull us out of the grain. But they pulled the wagon forward and opened the door as wide as they could, and just we took a ride out the grain bin. But I don't remember my parents yelling at us, because we were taught by example. So we never did that again. But I gave my kids a lot of freedom, and I'm known as the fun parent, because I let them make their own mistakes. Now, if I see them doing something dangerous, I stop them and say, no, that's too dangerous. That could be hurt. That can hurt you. But most of the time, my kids make their own mistake, and I'm big on the five love languages. So I want to show my wife love, and I want her to show me love. So I'm a touch guy. So when I'm sitting down and my wife walks behind me, I want her just to touch me, just running her hands across my shoulders. So I think with kids, the best thing is teaching by example. So I want them to find the loves of their life. So I want, with my wife, to show my kids love. My wife's love language is small jobs. So I would wake up in the morning and go unload the dishwasher. So that's me saying to her, I love you. So I'm a big on the five love languages, and teaching by example.
You've got a beautiful heart, my friend. Thanks for sharing that. I never thought of that. There's a lot that I could learn from you, from Kelly, and from John. But the five love languages, yeah, that's very. Is there one that speaks to you more than others? Can you even compare them?
I'm a touch guy, and my next is quality time. If I can spend quality time with someone, that's great. Like tonight, I just went out to eat with my buddy, so that's quality time with my buddy. And if I'm a touch guy, so if I've got certain friends, I push them or wrestle them. That's my way of saying to them, I love you guys.
I guess my brother loved me when we were a kid, because he beat the crap out of me for 9 years. Matt, your father, I got to say, man, oh man, this is an interesting story, because when you were born and raised in Hillsborough, you would volunteer. You'd be volunteered by your dad, along with your brother, to help family friends on their farms. And you would recall how your dad drove home the principle that you never take advantage of someone else's misfortune. Did that resonate with you even as an adult?
It really did. I live by that now. So if I see someone having a hard time, a misfortune, I help out as much as I can.
That's beautiful. It really is. Yeah, guys, again, parenting, I'm glad that we touched upon this. Topic number 2 is upon us right now. But again, guys and gals and pals, we turn it over to you. I dub you the engine that makes this thing go, as you know. So kindly, if you can, in the comment section, please vote on who resonated most with you.
Good evening, everybody. It's great topic 1. I'd like to kick it off and just remind everybody, please start voting in the comment section now. Topic 1 is now over with. For me, I'd like to hit on, Matt, your 5 love languages and, just for being around your family and your kids. I really like with where you were going with that and, the story that you threw in with you and your brother in the grain bin and learning a lesson on that. Miss Packard, you with, wanting not to make mistakes around your children and for them to learn from where you may make mistakes and not to have been maybe a burden in where they were coming from in life. All great points. But for me, tonight, I'm going to have to resonate most with Mr. O'Hurley and where he went with losing of his sister. I unfortunately went through the same thing. I have a daughter who lost her fiance to epilepsy a little more than 4 years ago. So I can totally understand and go through what John went through. So for me tonight, I'm going to have to go for my vote, which is going to be John tonight. And I'd also like to remind everybody in the comment section and being the judge that our votes are worth 5 points, and everybody in the comments, you guys are worth 1. And everything will be tallied up and let be known who the winner will be at the end of topic 2. I'd like to kick it off and see what my counter judge Larry would judge on this.
Thank you, Chad. Hello, everyone. Get your votes in there now, unbiased, please. Vote for whoever resonated with you the most. It means so much because it's just powerful stuff tonight. Absolutely amazing. Thank you all for that. And topic 1 is currently over. And like Chad said, we got 5 points for the judges. As much as I would love to disperse those, I cannot. I would like to thank John for sharing the experience with his wife and that fear and conquering those fears. And that did mean a lot to me. And Matt's story with his brother, with that experience and giving your kids the freedom and stepping in when they need it. But I have to vote for Kelly because I am a father myself, and I understand her fear of wanting to protect the children and hope that what we do impacts them and they understand we're trying to do the right thing for them. So my vote goes for Kelly. I can't wait for topic 2 to come on. That way we can see what is next. And then after that, the votes will be tallied. So again, vote away. And I would like to go ahead and kick it over to Jamie to see what he has to say.
I agree, Larry. I wish I could divvy out my points. This is so hard right now. All of these competitors really shined as well as gave so freely of themselves. First of all, Mr. O'Hurley, I was once a caregiver for many years, and I have seen some seizures, and you really spoke to me. It was absolutely amazing, and thank you for all that you do to raise awareness for that. You're the perfect advocate. Miss Kelly Packard, if everybody just tried, like you had said, you and your husband made a pact. Imagine what the world would look like if everybody just tried to raise up the next generation, just like one level. It's just amazing. And when we make mistakes, children become resilient. And we try not to make them, but we're only human. And you really spoke to me as well, Mr. Matt Hughes. A country boy will survive. You are an amazing human being. When you talked about outliving your kid, yeah, I can only think about that because otherwise it's just a little bit too rough, you know? Also, when you talked about the love languages, and with the love languages, how you touch, right? And but also that's almost part of grappling. I'll go from one class to another class and immediately start touching people and grabbing them, and that's just one of the things that we do. Just amazing. This is so hard, okay? However, my vote goes to Miss Kelly Packard, and she really talked about mom guilt is real, and all I know is parental guilt is very real. So I have to give my 5 points, all of them as a judge, to Miss Kelly Packard. Also, remember, this is just topic number 1, okay? We need some votes in the comments section. Let us know how you feel. Also, we're going to be moving on later, and you'll see a little bit of banter with us. And please stick around for that. Once again, this has only been topic number 1, and it's already been an amazing, amazing night. So lots more show to go. All right. And can I kick it to Howard right now? Come on, Howard.
Jamie.
My man.
Love your assessment there. Guys, damas y caballeros, if you love what you're watching, guys, stay tuned because we have an amazing final outro that will let you know which match is coming up next Saturday. And also, you see this device, right? Well, maybe not fully. Make sure you're voting, all right? Now is the time you could take a vote, make your votes, let your voice be heard, all right? And also, we have one more. If you thought that topic was amazing, we have another topic to go, guys. So don't go anywhere. It's gonna be fuego. All right. All that said, my friends, Matt's beautiful, harrowing his story of his brother getting in that crazy farm accident. God, he painted such a beautiful picture of the fear and the danger of that. And oh my God, you see, I said it this week that Matt was going to bring something that was just deeper and different from his first appearance on the show, and talk about love language. In a way, I'm not surprised. And him talking about his love language, and it's about touch and how he also expresses love by, I think he taking care of the dishes, and that tells his wife how much, and I mean, I'm not married, but I can only understand, just doing the dishes. But beautiful share by Matt. Kelly really talked about how, the fear of her, of her children resenting her for things she can't control. Not being able to control something and that's out of your hands. I can only imagine how irrational that can make you. I can only imagine the anxiety that builds in your head as a result. And her sharing that was pretty powerful. And her not letting her own childhood debilitate her from having children in this world, because I think that's a very common thing with a lot of people. Really appreciated her share. And then finally, we have John O'Hurley. And I'm sure, like many of you, I was touched by that story about losing his sister. I have 2 older sisters, and my family's Dominican, and 2 older Latin sisters. Single household, so essentially, and a mom. So I had 3 women around my household, and I'm very close. I'm very close to both of them, but specifically my middle one. So ultimately, that story really resonated with me. And ultimately, John, I love the way John just ended his argument, and I'll end mine. Irrational fear, unconfronted, continues to spread. Confront it, and it will dissipate. And I thought that was beautiful. My vote goes to John, and I'm going to kick it off to Giselle. So sometimes we have technical difficulties. That is okay. But guys, again, continue to vote. All right. Continue to put in your thoughts. Share it all, what you want to share. This is definitely the platform where you could just share your mind. You know, again, doing what we do is not always, I mean, how do you judge these amazing shares that these amazing luminaries have, right? And I want to give, my man, Jamie. I was just saying that I want to give also a shout out to my man Avi for coming up with these amazing topics. What are your thoughts on that? Just that first topic, Jamie.
I'm sorry. All I can think about right now is that this has been so intense so far that's going to make topic 2 really, really important. You know what I mean? A lot's hanging in the balance, and wow, let's get those votes in, guys. Come on. I can't wait for this next topic. I'm so excited.
I'm excited. I want to know what Sean has to say about this.
Me too.
Mr. Sean Archer.
Well, hello. Wow, Avi never fails, ever fails to bring up a topic that makes you just delve into yourself. I've got to say one thing Kelly hit on was being mom guilt, being a parent, which I have 3 generations of kids. I've got a 35-year-old, 22-year-old stepson, and a 13-year-old daughter. So I've literally handled every generation and seen how it moves forward. And with Kelly saying about mom guilt, trying to be the best mom you can, back when we were in the day, when the street light came on, we had to be home. That was it. We had to be home. If we weren't, there was a price to pay. And I can't even imagine on today's parents, as Kelly was stating, about the mom guilt. And becoming a parent is unknown. And she's absolutely right. You have no clue what's going on. Absolutely none. And John, wow. Looking at his sister and epilepsy and is confronting his worst scenarios, understanding how precious life is, absolutely heart-wrenching. All the way across from Kelly to John, and then Matt comes in. And, about his love of his kids and talking about the languages of love and teaching by example. You guys nailed it all the way through about the different facets of life that we must all go through to handle our kids. But if you're asking me who really hit home with me today, I'm going to have to say Kelly. Kelly absolutely resonated me with about being a parent, about some of the things that we must and have to do on a daily basis, whether we like it or not. Yeah, Kelly, you did an amazing job and you resonated with me. So everybody, I just need to let you know, I'm giving everybody, with the judges, we get 5 points, but we need these views and we need your votes. So all that being said, I want to thank each and every one of the contestants right now and what they did. Thank you. It was a very, very hard choice, but I'm going to have to go with Kelly.
I could definitely understand why. I mean, a very hard choice by all 3 of those luminaries and what they brought and they shared. And speaking of sharing, I want to hear what the amazing Giselle has to say, because it's Giselle. And I love her analysis and I love how she breaks things down. Giselle, I want to hear from you.
It's going to be a good night when I am in tears after the first topic. I had no idea how they were going to follow John O'Hurley's lovely, emotional speech. and his discussions of correcting the perceived wrongs of their parents. I'm not a parent, and I can only see from the experiences of mine and how they've reacted to myself and my siblings. I don't know if there are any irrational fears unless you allow that to take over and consume your entire life. John's parents lived through the worst thing that could possibly happen, and he's here to share that and spread awareness and try to make sure it never happens again, and that is beautiful. And Kelly Packard, I appreciate that you broke down the difference of what is irrational versus what is a real fear. And our kids probably in some way think we're always going to mess them up, but I know we all, as you so eloquently stated, try our hardest not to do that and do everything with the best of intentions. And that you also want to break that cycle of dysfunction, both you and your husband making that pact and making that active choice to break that cycle is so moving. You're already on that right path to a healthy relationship with your children. And Mr. Hughes, Matt Hughes, the instances of love and what we show, and sharing your examples of what led you to your own fears as a parent, also very touching. But for this first topic, my vote is going to Kelly Packard. We have one more topic to come after this, so stay tuned, not only for that topic, but for the outro at the end of the show, where we will get our first glimpse of which match will be happening next week. So there's lots more show to come. We need your votes in the comment section. If you haven't already, get that in for topic 1. They are being tallied in the back, and we will let you know at the end of both topics who is advancing to round 3 based on your votes. The live judges are worth 5. You in the comment section are worth 1. Lots of show to come, including some more predictions. We saw Stevie Ray earlier with his prediction video, and much like Stevie Ray, ourselves, the Green Roomers, and you, the Engine, you have also shared some predictions with us, so we'll check out some of those now, and then we will move on to topic number 2. Actually, we will head straight to that topic because this has been such a moving night already. I can't wait to get to the next topic and see what's going to happen, because we always save the best topic for last in these matches. And if topic 1 was that emotional and moving and heartwarming and touching and in-depth, I am ready to see what's going to happen with topic number 2.
The most cutest, because we can't win that one. That'd be you, Kelly.
Thank you.
Guys and gals and pals.
She has to have a blind phone where you can't see who she is.
Guys and gals and pals, thank you again. We just tallied your votes. Thank you again. Topic number 2. This is our final topic, and then I'm going to ask Kelly, John, and Matt to stick around for a tribute video that I put together for them. It's a very quick video. Hope it speaks to them. It's sort of a look back at yesteryear, if you will. I do want to ask this question, though. I think it's very important. We don't get political or religious around here, but there's something that a previous national sponsor, a rep, had asked me, and he said, 'tis the season right now, election season, all that stuff. I thought about division. And as a former geeky history teacher, I want to bring this up to John, Kelly, and Matt and get their take on this. I feel like when this country doesn't have a political enemy, it turns on each other. Would you guys agree?
Bingo. That's exactly right. That we haven't been able to find a unifying enemy. Right now, it's just the divisive groups that we have become. And I think back to those days of 9/11. I think back to days that were earlier than that, the Kennedy assassination.
Sure.
When when the country formed and banded together as one and held hands and grieved or had a sense of common purpose. We don't have a sense of common purpose. We're a divisive society right now, and it's not to our advantage.
It's well said. Well said. I agree with that. It is sad to see how people turn on one another. September 12th maybe is a day people should remember. September 12th, how everyone seemed very unified, regardless of their political viewpoints. You bring up 63, that's almost like the line in the sand. You know, it's so interesting that when you go back a couple of years, Kennedy didn't trust his military because of the Bay of Pigs fiasco. They were telling him that, of course, the military was telling him that those Cuban refugees were being trained, and they were cab drivers, they were doctors, and they weren't trained at all, and they were sent out there and they were slaughtered. And from that point forth, Kennedy publicly mentioned how he doesn't trust the military. He was waiting till 64 to address Vietnam, but of course he didn't make it to 64. And from that point on, we've seen so much division across the board.
And there's every reason to believe that he didn't trust his surrounding government either.
Yes, exactly. There's a great documentary that you guys might have seen. If not, please. Fog of War, Robert McNamara. On his deathbed in 2003, he started admitting to many people about what was going on, of course, in Camelot and all the happenings. Of course, he covers the Cuban Missile Crisis. There's this unsung Soviet hero who nobody brings up, who was in one of the ships that day in October of 62 when World War III was imminent and there were missiles being pointed at 6 different countries. It's insane to think how close we were to World War III back then. It's insane.
It's amazing.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. Guys and gals and pals commenting and watching, thank you again for joining us and bringing us into your living rooms. We appreciate that. We're about to delve into topic number 2. This is a thought-provoking topic. I titled this Eat the Dreamer, or the Dream. It's not actually my title, but it speaks to me because the pursuit of happiness and a sense of accomplishment is always connected to a dreamer's goals. Dreams may not always be realistic, but they're still worth pursuing. Persistence can make dreams come true, and it's never too late to dream big. It may not matter when you start. It only matters that you dream and then make those dreams happen. No matter what age you are, where you are in life, you can always chase your dreams. Children dream big. It's part of their genetic fiber, their overall makeup, if you will. They never think small because they aren't hindered by the standard limitations that adults sometimes can hold back. While it's easy to dismiss a child's dream as being silly or unrealistic, who's to say that's so? Who's to say that any of our dreams are silly and unrealistic? If something goes against the grain or runs in the opposite direction of societal norms, should we continue to dream? So this time I'm going to ask Kelly first, and then Matt, and then John. Kelly, in your opinion, does the dreamer outlive his or her dream, or does the dream live on long after death? Whenever you're ready, my friend.
That is a very deep question. I suppose that some, dreams end with the dreamer, but I believe 100% that the dream lives on long after death. It doesn't matter how small or how inconsequential the dream is. It'll continue to manifest itself through, well, in my case, I'm hoping my posterity, and oftentimes like art will continue to move forward through artists. And my dream, well, I have so many dreams, but a huge dream for me is that in terms of animals, that someday I won't go to bed worried and sick and hurt inside because of injustice towards animals. And I know that by just being an advocate or expressing, or in my case, expressing my love and devotion to animals to my kids, I know that it has been heard and it is going to live on. And my oldest daughter is studying zoology and wants to work with big animals. And more specifically, she wants to work with behavioral issues with big animals. And so here I am allowing my dream to live through her because when she goes and lives in Africa and works with big elephants, she's truly living my dream. And I don't know that she would have done that if I hadn't have instilled in her at a very young age how much animals mean and how we don't deserve them and all the things that I've, made my kids listen to me go on and on about. So yes, I truly believe that that dreams go on after death. And I have to believe that, or else I think everybody has to believe that, or else what are we doing? Like, why dream? Why put it out there? Why manifest? Why do like Oprah says and put it out there? I have to believe it goes on, or else I just don't really have much to look forward to.
Wow. Yeah, when you put it that way, absolutely, sure. I mean, sometimes we're so reliant upon them and we're afraid to actually wake up. The dream might be easier. Kelly, I want to bring this up because you brought up how much you're an animal lover. Are Cherokee Pasha, Dakota, and Jewel still with us?
No, they are all past. They were some of my first animals. My first real horse when I was an adult was Cherokee Pasha. And then Dakota was my first dog that I purchased on my own. And Jules almost lived to 19, and then a coyote got her. It was awful. But yeah, no, they are no longer. But I have 29 others now. So
yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, and when you were bringing this up during round number 1 when you're on with David Faustino. Do you think, and we're just to kind of go back to topic 1, do you feel as if taking care of pets or our pets, is there some sort of link? Can we interweave that into parenting as well? Do you think a good parent can benefit from also raising animals?
100%. And going back to my friend that didn't have kids,
right?
Her cat is her child, and literally she treats it like better than I treat my children.
Sure.
So yes, and there's so much to be learned in that process because they cannot take care of themselves. So they are very much like a newborn baby, and you can't. I could comfortably leave my kids. I never would, but I could leave my kids for like 3 or 4 days. They would survive. My animals probably wouldn't. So there's a lot to be learned in nurturing animals. And at a young age, I think it's really imperative to do that. Just for compassion alone,
Right. Yes.
Teach. And if I can do anything with even strangers, I try to teach that. Just
wow.
compassion.
That's a great message. It really is. And it speaks to me. We're talking, guys and gals and pals who are watching about dreams. And again, being able to present it in such a fashion. I love conceiving these topics because I think of the Kelly Packards and the John Hurleys and the Matt Hughes and what they'll be thinking of. And they're giving us so much. So again, give it back to them. Have the attitude of gratitude. Speaking of beds and dreaming, this is an observation I came up with. A little moment of levity here. If Goldilocks slept in 3 beds, then that means that Mama Bear and Daddy Bear were already sleeping in separate beds. So were they maybe only staying together for the sake of Baby Bear? Is that possible? I don't know. Thoughts?
Wow, you just broke my brain.
I think Papa Bear snored.
Yeah, there you go. I'll definitely try to, guys, if that lands or not, guess what? We have the old fire truck. But speaking of fire trucks, just to kind of hose this thing down, fire trucks are actually water trucks, aren't they?
Yes.
They could be.
Mm-hmm.
They could be considered water trucks. I don't know. I mean, that's just kind of wordplay here a little bit. That's what I do when I write at 2 a.m. and have nothing to think about. I think of the words like through, tough, thorough, thought, and though. They don't rhyme, but pony and baloney do. Are you kidding me? Insane when you think about that. Oh, my gosh. Guys and gals and pals, I do not play and I do not kid when it comes to what we do here tonight, which is giving back as much as we can to you, like Mr. Matt Hughes, guys, who I will ask the same question to. Matt, do you think does the dreamer outlive his or her dream, or does the dream live on long after death? The floor is yours, my friend.
I would say the dream outlives the dreamer. It's like I'm a farmer, so when I go plant 40 acres, the South 40, I wonder how many farmers it took to clear that. It would have taken probably 20 farmers a whole week to clear 40 acres. So they had a dream to live back, and dreaming is why this country is what it is. So think about the people who come in the Mayflower they want all dreamers. So their dreams have far outlived them. In my world, in the UFC, Hoist and the founding fighters, they didn't know the UFC was going to be on every week on ESPN. So the dream will far outlive the dreamer. No doubt about it.
It's beautiful. Yeah, it was such a renegade operation early on the UFC, where people sort of the Wild West, and yeah, man.
And back when I first got in the UFC, you couldn't. Hey, nobody knew who it was. Now I can't go in a restaurant or the airport and someone say, "Matt, I'm a big fan. I love what you did." But it's funny how far the progression of the fighting sports.
You know, you bring up earlier on when you were on with us last year during round number 1, Matt, you brought up opportunity, and I was always thinking about asking you this question. I think it's no secret, but I could be wrong, that your greatest opportunity to date in the octagon occurred during UFC 34. You took the stage against Carlos Newton, who is, of course, world champion. You made the most of the opportunity. You knocked him out in a comfort behind victory, and for the first time, you were UFC World Welterweight Champion. At the time, do you feel like that was the most out of an opportunity professionally that you ever made?
Probably, but to be honest, I never thought I'd be UFC champion or really care about it. I just didn't want to lose. I don't like to lose anything. I'm sorry, you two, but I don't like losing anything. So I'm so competitive. I've said this before. If I think I'm going to lose, I won't play the game. So I'm here because I'm going to win.
Yeah, and you are, and you've helped. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And, you know, again, this sounds sappy, but I speak from a place of truth here. We're all winners because we're getting to know each other, and I think that's a great thing to be able to learn from your experiences. I think it's so great because there's someone out there that either aspired to or maybe was able to excel in a craft that John O'Hurley, Kelly Packard, and Matt Hughes excelled in. But on such a level, again, you guys inspire so many people. Matt, you know, I have to say this again. You played football, you wrestled during high school with your brother, Mark, and, you know, you were a linebacker. There were so many things that you did. But I think the most inspirational thing that you did was your comeback story, where you proved that the comeback is better than the setback. Again, taking us through that story when you were here last year, my mind was blown because so many people who would have been dealt with such a hand the way that you were, and I'm talking about the trains, plural, not singular, the way that you were able to rehabilitate yourself through sheer desire and still make it about the kids and still being out there to this day, helping out those kids. That's incredible, Matt.
I thought that this was going to be a fun interview, and now you just took to a sad point. But June 16, 2017, I was hit by a train, and it was a country crossing, very narrow crossing. So you worry about a car speeding at you, not the train from either side. No cross arms or lights.
Sure.
And when you pull up and look down the track, all you see is the passenger headrest of the passenger seat. So it's a total blind spot for me. But people said first off that I was trying to beat the train. I never saw the train. And they had me in a coma 19 days. And for me, that's telling people, listen, relax and let your body heal. So just know your body is trying to get as good as it can. So I had to relearn everything. As you can tell, I don't talk like a normal person, but my theory is, who wants to be normal? Who wants to be normal?
Yes,
Normal
sir.
is boring. Normal is boring.
Right on.
So I had to relearn everything again, and I guess it gave me something to do because I just like being retired. So I'm always looking for a buddy to help or something. But so
I love that. I really do, Matt.
Had the worst brain possible, but I'm living proof there is a God. So I have now a foundation called the Matt Hughes Project, and that's to help mostly military people, military who come back with PSD or anything. I want to help them. So that's what my project is going to be about.
Thank you for doing that. I come from a military family, and just to hear what you do, we're going to make sure our viewers are able to, guys and gals and pals as well. We're going to give you that information consistently, even after this particular segment. Matt, you were going to say something, my friend?
It's called the Matt Hughes Project. It's based out of Montana. Montana is, I think, the prettiest state in the continent.
Without question. Yeah. Thank you again for doing what you do, my friend, because you have such enthusiasm about you. And it's contagious. It really is, my friend.
Kelly, I heard you laugh when I said Montana is the prettiest state. So what, you disagree?
Did you say your den?
Montana.
Montana. Okay. I thought you said your den, that you work out of your den. And so I heard your den is the prettiest state, but Montana is hands down the prettiest state.
Pretty state as well. No confusion about it. I'm a little confused about one thing, though. Why do we park in a driveway and drive in a parkway?
It's good.
Why do we stay heads up when we actually duck? Why do we call it a building when it's already been built?
Well, okay.
This is great. I love this. Guys and gals and pals, I promise to never do that again. But what I will do right now is kick it over to Mr. John O'Hurley, the aforementioned John O'Hurley, with the same question Kelly and Matt had. John, the dreamer. Does the dreamer outlive his or her dream, or does the dream live on long after death? Good sir.
Well, first of all, Matt, I am a fly fisherman, so I will agree with you. Montana is, that's where God lives, and that certainly is where he vacations on weekends. I have a little bit of trouble with the word dream, and it's just a personal thing. I like to use the word imagination. For some reason, it seems to fit my life experience and also my love of words. Imagination is the pictures in your mind of who you are and what you're supposed to be. Your imagination is a 24/7 assessment of who you are. And it's constantly updating and updating. The other side of your brain is the rational side. That's the logical side. It keeps you alive. It keeps you upright. It tells you not to do this or do that in an instant. It's there to protect you. Your imagination is there to inspire and to move you forward based on who you are and what you are capable of being. And I believe very profoundly in this. And if I've been a success at any point in my life, it's because I only listen to my imagination. I don't listen to my rational mind. It has always lied to me. My imagination never lies to me because it doesn't know how. And I also believe that your imagination, the pictures that are there in your mind of you succeeding in something, that's the only way that God can talk to you. He can't talk to you through your rational mind. I'm sorry, that's just too limited. But he will talk to you through your imagination. It is the most important part because everything begins with a good idea. What you imagine has value. I'll say it again. What you imagine has value. That's probably the most important thing you can take with you for the rest of your life. What you imagine has value, because that's the way that you proceed in life to fulfill that thing that you refer to as a dream. For me, it's always been listening to it, no matter what it was. When I was a little kid and you brought it up when I was 3 years old, and I would say, well, I am an actor, so that's what I'm supposed to be. And I would have my hands on my hips and I'd be pointing to the little black and white TV in the corner of the room. But I knew in my mind, the pictures were there, that I was supposed to be an actor. So for my entire life, it was always about connecting the dots. It was never about, deciding whether this or do that project or do that. No, it wasn't. It was about listen to the pictures in your mind. And when you see yourself succeeding, that's what you're supposed to be doing. And I'll say that again. What you imagine is what you are supposed to be doing. And if you follow that route, you'll always be a success in life. So whether the dream, as you call it, lives past you or dies with you, it will always be your dream. It will be your imagination. It will be the thing that you embrace. It will be the thing that moved you from point A to point B. And I think that's the most important message that a child, an adult, can have when they're trying to grab hold of their life and recircle the wagons. What does your imagination tell you? I'll leave it with that.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful, Mr. Hurley. Thank you. That touches me a lot. As a writer that was trying to pay my dues and make ends meet 20 years ago, I needed to hear that. I wish I could have heard that, but I'm glad I didn't, because
it's the thing that made me do Dancing with the Stars.
Is it really?
Oh my God. I was the guy with the glass of Chardonnay that at the wedding reception would sit in the back wall holding it up there when the music started. I'd sit there and say, well, drink yourselves up there, Shriners. I wouldn't dance or anything like that. So
Sure.
when Dancing with the Stars came up, I was the first one they asked.
But you're so good at it, John.
And I said, all right, I'll be very happy. They presented the project, and I said,
sure,
it's a competitive ballroom dancing show, and I said, well, I'll be happy to host it.
Yeah.
They said, no, we want you to do it. And I said, no,
wow.
Come on now, I'll host it. They said, no, we want you to do it. And then and then all of a sudden, and I'm not kidding you, I saw the picture in my mind of me succeeding in this show about competitive ballroom dancing. And I said, oh, God. I said, all right, I'll do it. Who else have you got? And they said, well, you're the first one we've asked. but now that we have you, we know that we can get Evander Holyfield.
Oh,
and I said, what? And then it hit me. I said, ABC was just using this midsummer replacement series to give America what they had been hoping for more than 20 years. And that was the Evander Holyfield, John O'Hurley matchup together, finally on the level playing field of ballroom dancing.
I was clamoring for it for years. I love that. I love what you said, though, because it really, like I said, resonated with me, and I'm sure the masses. In my case, I think I needed about 6 years to grow up enough to say that making a living is my responsibility, making a living at writing. Because it's not somebody else's job to provide me with my dream. It's my job to provide.
It's exactly right. The world doesn't owe you your dream because, baby, it was here first.
Yes, sir. That's right. Yes. Man, guys and gals and pals, again, please thank Miss Kelly Packard, Mrs. Kelly Packard, John O'Hurley, and Matt Hughes. We're going to find out very soon, of course, who resonated most with you. It's going to be very tough to vote. I'm glad I do not have to. But this is a celebrity tournament after all, a place that I dub edutainment, where conversation happens, not controversy. And we are philosophically fun. Guys and gals, I do not find it hard to believe that you guys, again, are enjoying this because of these great conversations. I do find it hard to believe that there are actually people who get in the shower first and then turn on the water. That's very strange to me. I don't know why people do that. I have my uncle who does that. Kelly, Matt, John, it happens. I don't know. Yeah. Do you guys agree that LOL is gone from meaning laugh out loud to have nothing else to say? Is that what LOL is gone to? That's kind of what happened with LOL there. There's something I do want to say, though. We're talking about a lot of parenting and fear, trepidation. There's something that really petrifies me. Answering the same letter 3 times or more in a row in a Scantron test. That's absolutely petrifying. The same answer, one after the other. Ever happen to you in school? Like C. It can't be C all the time, but your brain tells you it might be C. And then, of course, you didn't trust your instincts and you were wrong. Do you guys hate being the one with the?
I play blackjack, so I have the same problem.
I don't know if I can handle that pressure. I also can't handle this pressure, John. Do you find it to be pressuresome being the one person with a remote control in a room full of people watching TV?
Why do you think I host the National Dog Show on Thanksgiving Day? I know that all of America, somebody's got the remote in their hands, and at some point it's going to turn on to the National Dog Show, and I've got all of America for the rest of the day.
Yes, I love that. And I love that show. I love that.
I'd be watching.
Yeah, it's a great show. There's no doubt about that. And guys,
No,
thank you for making this such a great show and a great time and a great experience. Here we go right now, guys and gals. We're going to kick it over to you to vote on who resonated most with you for topic number 2.
Wow, what another amazing topic. Wouldn't you guys all agree? Do not forget to vote, everybody. Get your votes in right now. We will find out at the end of everybody's judging on who will move on and who will go home. And do not go anywhere, as well as we still have lots, and I mean lots of show for you guys to enjoy. So let me get on to my judging. Miss Packard, just the Injustice for Animals, that's such an amazing thing. And to be able to live through your daughter the way that you can, and to see your dream and what you love to inspire, be able to carry on and move on through her. So yes, your dream will move on, and that is amazing and such a great cause. John, what you had to say, imagination 24/7 is an assessment of who you are. I love that saying. It makes so much sense. Rationality, again, it will lie to you. A dream won't. I agree with that, and I think that's why dreams are so important. We are so afraid to live in reality that we feel our safe spot is in a dream because we can control it and not let the bad things happen. We can always live in that happy spot to where we want to be. Now, with that being said, this brings me on to Matt. Being a 9-time champion, you know what I mean? There's a lot to be said about living your dreams, Matt. You know what I mean? You've done it 9 times, but being and going through what you did in life, you know what I mean? You're still living your dreams. You know what I mean? Your eyes don't have to be closed for you to dream, my man. You are living it each and every day. You are walking, talking proof that a dream. And if you carry on and you want to do something in life, you will make it happen no matter the obstacles you need to overcome. So with that all being said, and I mean, this is a very, very hard one for me to judge on, but I think I'm going to have to give my votes to this one to Mr. Matt Hughes. How do you vote on this one, Larry? Tell us your thoughts, my friend.
Man, absolute magic. Awesome. Great. Get your votes in now. We're going to get ours in. 5 points for us. Stick around after topic 2 because we're going to find out who wins, who will be moving on and who's going to go home. If there is by chance a tie, there will be a tiebreaker match in the future where those 2 individuals will face each other to see who does advance. I'm going to start with Kelly. Living her dream through her daughter. Awesome. It does show that it will live on. And then with Matt, dreaming is why this country is what it is. Just caught me. That was absolutely awesome. I loved it. And just the things that he's been through. And I mean, he's immortalized in UFC and moving on. He had his dream just to get out there and not lose. And then John O'Hurley, while he did take the dream and changed it a little bit, his justification of saying imagination just was absolutely great. And with him saying what you imagine is what you are supposed to be doing, that catches the essence of TKN right here. And for me, John resonated with me the best. So John has my vote. And so keep voting, stick around, watch us afterward, and we're going to talk. And you'll also see the outro at the end to find out who's coming up next week and who's next in the tournament. So everyone stay tuned. Jamie, what do you think?
Thanks, Larry. Yes, and good point. Stick around till the end for a little banter. This has been an amazing night. Honestly, I'm so torn right now. Vote in the comments section, please, folks. Vote for the person who resonates most with you. Okay, that's very, very important. That's why I'm struggling right now, to be honest. Miss Kelly Packard, when you talked about how you live through your daughter, it was just absolutely beautiful. And when you brought up the animals, I just got hit right in the feels. I had a dog I had to put down a few weeks ago. She was a 17-year-old black lab and my best friend. And losing animals, I don't know, there's something special that's the connection that we have with animals, and so that hurts on the way out. But God bless you. Matt Hughes, you are amazing. I am from Springfield, Illinois, and the fact that you brought it with the farmers and talking about how literally they have to have a dream every season, brother. That was deep. Absolutely amazing. And you inspire us all. You can see that in the comment sections. However, I have to vote for John O. Hurley because he resonated with me when he says imagination has value. I repeat, imagination has value. And the way that he described it, he was able to weave it in such a way that that's what resonated with me. And so I have to vote for Mr. John O. Hurley. I mean, obviously, everybody did just amazing. We're going to need you to vote in the comments section, folks, and stick around. We're going to have some prediction videos that are coming up here. Some of us might eat our words, but please stick around. Banter towards the end. Prediction videos. Vote, please. Oh, wow. Howard, what did you think about this one?
Oh, my God. Jamie, great analysis. Yeah, another tough one. Another amazingly tough one. I love Matt bringing up the Pilgrims and how they literally and figuratively planted the seeds and how their dreams continue to outlive them. And then comparing that all the way to the Gracie family, a very prominent, important family in the martial arts world and community, and how their passion continue to live on. I love that. And dreaming is why this country is what it is. That's beautiful. That really kind of, that really blew me away. John, I mean, he left us with what does your imagination tell you? And that is what will determine the longevity of your dream, the life of your dream. Beautifully profound statement. I mean, everything that John was giving was just gold, and the rational side in contrast to your imagination, and those two and the duality. But there's something beautiful about Kelly talking about how her child, I think her youngest, if I'm not mistaken, is carrying on this passion that she has for animals, and Kelly not being able to go to sleep at night, or that's one of her biggest, that fear, knowing that there's some injustice. I do not have a child. I do imagine one in my life one day, but that really just touched me. And so my point goes to Kelly, but all three did phenomenal, and I am grateful to just, to be here and taking in what, they are, giving us. Really quick, guys, continue voting right now. Continue voting. Guys, again, if you love this match, if you like this match, stay tuned, because at the end, we are going to have a phenomenal outro that will give you and let you know what match is coming up next Saturday. So stay tuned after this. We're going to, continue to kind of talk about this amazing match we just saw, the amazing topics provided by Mr. Clyde, as well as his moments of levity, which I always enjoy. So I am going to kick it off to Giselle.
Sean. Hi! I have been waiting for this topic. It did not disappoint. We have a ton of show to come after this. We have tribute videos for our competitors. One person will be eliminated this evening. Your votes are being tallied as we speak. And as always, it is close. Who will advance tonight? Who will move on to round 3? Who will be eliminated? If you haven't already, get your votes in because all of your votes count. We're pulling them up on screen. They are being tallied in the back, so we are definitely seeing them. And stay tuned for more show and the outro with next week's first look at the next match in the celebrity tournament. Kelly, you proved how the dream can live on after the dreamer has passed, after the dreamer is gone, by sharing that passion with your children and allowing them to follow that or whatever passion they chose, but being able to instill your own love in them and seeing that grow and develop and nurturing that as well. And that is a really beautiful story and a great way for your dream to continue for generations to come. Matt Hughes, I appreciate the concrete examples you gave, especially from your experience when you see the farm and you wonder how many farmers did it take to clear that. The experiment of the United States, the Gracies, and how they didn't know where UFC would end up, how they couldn't imagine where this was going to take them, how it was going to take the world by storm, and yet it did. And Mr. O'Hurley, using the word imagination, allowing us to know that our imagination has value, because I have been told time and time again that being a storyteller is childish, it's unsustainable, it's a silly profession. But I can't give that up. He said he saw himself as an actor when he was 3. And all he could do was act. And I relate to that so much. I don't use the word aspiring because I am a storyteller. That is what I do. That is what I am trained to do. That is what I have been passionate about for my entire life. And I will not let anything stand in that way. So allowing us to have value in those imaginations, in those dreams, and then knowing that is where that will take you, that your imagination will take you from point A to point B. My vote is going to Mr. O'Hurley. So now we have one more live judge, and I would love to hear what Sean has to say on this topic.
Well, hello, everybody. What a great topic. All 3 of the participants had different venues or avenues that they went down that made me look down a different way. You know, Kelly, absolutely amazing with your, the chill. One thing I loved about what you said, Kelly, is that we're not here to be our children's friend. We're here to guide them. And with the dream that we want to dream for our children, we want to guide them. And we would love to guide them. But we've all found out that it is what it is. We're going to have to deal with what our child thinks. And we're going to have to deal with what they do. And I think you brought up a great point that we're not here to be their friends. We're here to be their mentors, to do the tutelage, to treat them and to understand that we are here to make sure that if something happens to us, you're ready to go forward. So when you're talking about the dream to the dreamers, we dream for our kids, and our kids are the dreamers. And all we can do is get them on the right path. When it came John O'Hurley, oh, dream instead of imagination. Wow. Imagination never lies. Wow. Everything happens with a good idea. Wow. Matt, truly understand what you've gone through. I have watched you since the beginning of your career. I have always been somebody that has, and what I love to watch and what I love to do, you've been an inspiration for me. And I'm so happy that you have moved on with everything that's going on. But for this particular rounds, this one, it was really, really close. But this one I'm going to have to give to John O'Hurley, because imagination never lies. That one hit me hard right here. It really, I didn't know even how to vote until he said that.
That hit me hard too, man. I'm telling you, it's just been amazing thus far. Sean, what a great analogy. Wow. Greenies, let's get some votes in. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Sean.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, I'm glad you did.
Okay, Greenies, let's get some votes in here, okay? These competitors really paid it forward. They really shared themselves with us, and what a beautiful night, you know. As far as imagine, me, Jamie Sparling, I couldn't imagine when I started this journey with Avi Klein where this would be right now, and part of this amazing show with all of this phenomenal talent, engine members, everybody coming together. This thing is just, it's so special. Please, we're going to do a little bit of banter in a few, and let's get those votes in, and we're going to be calculating the votes, and we're going to need some time because there's a lot of you. Okay, so stay with us to the very end, and also there might be a little special surprise for you, actually. You know, at the end of the broadcast, we tend to announce what's going on next week. And honestly, it's the part that just gets my heart going like crazy. So we have more show to go. Stick with us. And at this time, I'd like to kick it all to Mr. Avi Klein, as well as my cohorts. Anyway, so thank you. So there he is. You are, oh, you know, you're never late, brother. You're always on time. Been that way since college. Thank you. What did you think about tonight?
It was beautiful. One of the things I did not mention, I think Sean had mentioned it, or maybe I'm not sure. When God talks to you through your imagination. What?
I know.
What?
Mm-hmm.
John said that. I was like, ugh, right in the heart. I mean, that's a beautifully profound statement. Giselle, what do you think about that?
This has been a very profound night. The last 3 weeks have been some of my favorites, but I believe we have a little bit more to hear from our panel this evening. That is Avi and Kelly and John and Matt. So let's see what we have to say.
And we're back, guys. Thank you for your votes. We appreciate that. Appreciate your comments as well. Guys, we are very humbled to say we're at 2.5 million views in 10 months. And really, thank you for making this what it is now, where people are knocking on the old door, and maybe this will get greenlit. Maybe it won't, but if it will, of course, Kelly, Matt, and John, hopefully, in a perfect world, will be a part of this thing. They are part of the tournament as well. We appreciate the fact that they're part of this great network where they're always invited to come here and share their hearts and souls with us, because we respect that. We appreciate that. I do want to have a tribute video that I have queued up here for all three of you.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Please. Please.
Kelly, I question is for you. What's your husband's love language?
Oh, definitely touch. Which, you know, as women, that's a fine line because touch leads to other things.
Sure. There you go.
Touch leads to more touching.
Yeah, so, you know, I don't give as much touch as I should.
Kelly, what is your most rewarding professional accomplishment?
Oh, gosh. Most rewarding. Oh, that's tricky. Well, I dream of being on Dancing with the Stars. Oh gosh, probably honestly, as silly as it is, doing Circus of the Stars. It was, I had the opportunity to work with the lions and tigers. And so I look back and go, I did that. What? And yeah, it was incredible.
I can't imagine that. You're a lot braver than I am. There's no doubt about that.
No, I didn't want to leave. I never wanted to leave. I just wanted to stay in there with them.
That's incredible. John, I don't know if this is the case. Just the same question for you. A man with standards, because you rode and toured around the country with that one-man show.
I'll be doing it tomorrow night, actually. So
wow, that's
yes, I tour. Actually, I now extended it to overseas as well. Yeah, it's a show about growing up surrounded by the music of the 50s and the 60s, the Great American Songbook, the standards we call them, and I call it A Man with Standards because I was also lucky enough to grow up around men and women who had standards.
Sure.
We called them ladies and gentlemen. And they had manners, and you know, now it's a little different.
I love that. I'm very much passionate about what you just said, and I think chivalry should still be alive.
But more to the point, I would like to say that I also was the only person who received mouth-to-mouth resuscitation not once, but on 2 different episodes of Baywatch.
Twice. There you go.
I wondered if you were.
Well, you're
not once, but twice.
But you're a fan of water, John, because your lake in Vermont, maybe with occasional visits to Nantucket, might be your favorite place in the world, perhaps.
It is absolutely. It's that's my haven. That's, as I say, I'm a fly fisherman, and I have found my little slice of Eden.
Well, I want to thank 2 people that gave you inspiration, because you really do give a lot to us as well. They never met, but the people that maybe you retreat to for inspiration are your father and T.S. Eliot. Is that right?
Well, T.S. Eliot definitely, and certainly my father was one of the greatest examples of humor. He was one of the great doctors there was, and his sense of expertise in what he did, but his gentility. The people that I talk to now that said he was probably the gentlest doctor that they ever worked with, and that means the world to me. But T.S. Eliot, yes, I define my life by the words of his poem, The Four Quartets. In the end is my beginning, and the beginning is my end, and the purpose of all of our exploring will be to arrive at the place where we started and finally know it for the first time.
That's beautiful. Thank you, John.
I just got a new tattoo that says I am just beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
T.S. Eliot was right.
Yes.
Kelly, do you have the tattoo on your ankle with your mother's initials, the small tattoo there?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I got tattoos now, but yes, I have her on my ankle, my grandma on my shoulder, and then I'm just beginning on my back of my arm. Yeah.
That's
and
amazing.
of course, we've got LA because we just won again, but that was from 2020.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. As a New Yorker, I'm not going to bring that up.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, you got us. You got us. Matt, you have some great art as well, right? Some great artwork on you. No? Okay.
I don't have any ink at all.
Sure. But
and you guys stop talking about Kelly's ink, because now people are going to start voting for you. So leave her out of the conversation for the rest of the time, please.
You know, I got to say this, Matt, because I know that you would travel back to Rancho 3M for other mission trips to help people. I know you're an active member of the First Presbyterian Church in Hillsboro.
Yeah.
But I have to say this as well, professionally speaking, because there's something to be said about being able to roll up your sleeves and do what you love and what you're passionate about. What is your greatest professional accomplishment, your greatest career accomplishment?
that's tough for me to answer because when I think about my career, I only think about the losses. So I don't think about the victories. And people say I was the best at one time, power man, but I disagree. I just maybe the luckiest.
Well, Matt, if being the best means that you can get myself and my brother and some of our other friends who at the time were making ends meet to still cough up our hard-earned money to watch a pay-per-view that cost $69.95 to watch you main event, you're the best.
So you're saying I'll use money?
Spot on, my friend. Spot on.
So I tell this all the time. They want a picture. I say, yes, and they say how much is it? I said you paid that when you bought the pay when you bought the pay view because some of that money went in my pocket.
Oh, it's so nice that you're able to think of your fans that way and, really kind of put that in perspective. But Matt, I do want to give you your floor. There's a tribute video for you, for Kelly, and for John. John first. Is there anything you guys would like to say to one another before we depart?
Oh, what a joy to be with two lovely, lovely people from two different walks of life. Absolutely. Sure. Just absolutely. Matt, I have no idea what your world is like. I can only imagine because I was 6'1" and 129 pounds, and I played on the line in high school. So I got the Jesus kicked out of me every single day. I have no idea what it's like to live in a world where you can do the opposite to people. And Kelly, you are breathtaking still. That smile, that is illuminary.
Thank you. I just want to do this again and again. I feel like I've made friends. And again, I've taken the competition part of it out because I've just enjoyed talking to you guys tonight and hearing your stories and believing everything that comes out of your mouth. And I'm just grateful for this opportunity.
I am too. And I'm a guy, so I can sit and stare at you the whole time.
I love that. I'm going to ask Matt Hughes and Kelly Packard to hang out for 1 minute backstage as I play a video for Mr. John O'Hurley. John, you also played basketball when you were younger.
Yes, I did. Well, I was skinny enough and tall enough, but I could do that. But I used to get, you have no idea how I got beaten up on the football field.
Oh, gosh almighty. Guy, I hope you enjoy this. This is a little bit of a trip down memory lane, my friend. This is from me to you.
Thanks, my friend. That was just touching as hell.
I want to say this, that in the short period of time, getting to know you virtually as well, hopefully one day we can break bread. I do want to say that your presence is a present, because I do feel like, again, I've already made a fast friend in you. And thank you for sharing your heart and your soul and your time with us, my friend.
Thanks again. Take care.
Wonderful night, John.
God bless.
You too.
Bye-bye.
John O'Hurley, guys and gals and pals. What a wonderful human being. I want to bring in Kelly Packard right now, and then Matt Hughes. I have a tribute for Matt. I have a tribute for Kelly. Wow. Sometimes it's very difficult to render me speechless, but these three great human beings that stand for something special did just that. Kelly and the family, welcome.
I brought some of my reinforcements.
Hi, sir. How are you?
Hi, Abby. This is Darren and Delaney.
Darren Delaney, nice to meet you. Absolutely. Hopefully you guys can enjoy this trip down memory lane for Kelly as well. This is a video from me to Kelly. And again, thank you for being you. It's all about family. And you are inspiring many people, my friend. Trust me.
Oh, thank you, Avi. So are you. You are just awesome. I would do this every day with you.
Appreciate that. You had a nice time tonight?
I did, very much. Again, I didn't feel like a competition, rather just a forum for friends to talk. So I loved it.
Absolutely. And you're a huge part of that. I wish you and your entire family, nice meeting you all here virtually as well. Thank you.
Some of it, half of it.
There you go. Hope you guys have a great rest of the weekend.
You too. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Matt, I'm going to bring you on down here, my friend, because, again, you're used to being the main event. The main event tonight, Mr. Matt Hughes. Matt, I'll ask you the same question. You had a nice time, my friend?
I had a great time. I would agree with him. It was like talking with old friends, not any type of a competition.
I'm glad you're part of this tournament, man, because I guess it's through the tournament that we really get to know you. And it's been an honor to go down the rabbit hole. As a screenwriter, I like to really go down the rabbit hole and research a person, but there's nothing like experiencing your heart more so than researching the human being. I mean, I don't know if you're the same way, but like I could tell just by looking at someone sometimes, if they're the real deal, and you're the real deal as a human being, brother. I feel like if I broke bread with you, you'd become a fast friend.
I agree, and I'm Christian, and my mom and grandma are up in heaven, so I do everything. I want them proud of me out there. So I really try to be as good a person as I can.
And you definitely are, man. You cracked this up a lot with some of those one-liners. Those were great, but you really do inspire so many people. So I hope, my friend, that you enjoy this video from me to you. And guys and gals and pals, this is Matt Hughes. definitely inspire everybody, brother. You really do.
I'm very happy about that, but I live my life, so I can't think it's wrong. So I don't know why anyone cares about what I do.
I think they. I'll just say this. I think they do because we had like about maybe 25% of our audience last time you were here who never watched the UFC, who said, "I want to know more about Matt." And I'll tell you, between us, that's my mission, man. I don't like making anything about me. I want to make it about people like you who give back, because you don't have to, but you do, and you do it from a real place, brother. And I respect it.
That's I always have to think about something. So I think about with my Man Hughes project, my nonprofit. That's my big thing on my mind is how can I help these veterans who went out there to protect my freedoms. So
I want to talk to you, if it's okay, after the weekend about how I can help, because I think I can, and I want to help, man. I really want to get involved if that's possible.
Of course, and I'll take all the help I can have.
I'd love to. My friend, you have a great rest of the weekend.
Have a good day, all.
You too. Matt Hughes, Kelly Packard, John O'Hurley. To know these human beings, to experience what we're experiencing, maybe life is but a dream after all.
Puro fuego. That's all I got to say.
Wow. Guys.
That's really awesome.
Is your phone, guys, I have to know, is your phone blowing up like mine? Because literally, I have asked many people in the martial arts business to check this out, but once they found out Matt Hughes was on right now, I think the electricity is going to go out in my house. I'm going to have to recharge this thing.
My phone actually broke. It's no longer working.
Thank you, Larry.
It's absolutely incredible. It just, man.
Yeah, this is one that's going to be continued to share for days and weeks and months. And if I have people who weren't watching tonight, this is the episode to send them, because it's really all encompassing. Anyone at the last 3 weeks, but particularly tonight, we had everything. We had everything in the first topic. Wouldn't you agree, Howard?
The results are in. All right, we're ready for the results. I'm sure everybody else are. Sean,
are you ready? Are you ready for the results too?
Oh, I'm above and beyond ready, guys. You know, I'm a little bit. I was not allowed to say anything, but I'm going to say it now because it is what it is. Having the three people on in front of me tonight and what they've done in their fields, John O'Hurley, Kelly, and Matt. I have never, and I can honestly say this, have never missed an MMA fight since its conception. I used to watch Tank Abbott. I used to watch all of them. So to turn around and to see Matt and then John and Kelly, I'm going to have to say, I'm not supposed to, but I'm going to. You know, guys, I'm a sports guy. And to see Matt and his viewpoints and where he went and what he's done and what he had to face and who he's fought. Wow. And then you go to...
You are killing me. I'm on the edge of my seats right now.
Yeah. John, we got the results. Here are the results. Ollie is sitting in 2 out of 3 are advancing, and we have the results right now.
I'm not the only one.
Oh,
come on.
They killed it. This was one of the...
It was awesome.
It was above and beyond awesome.
Yes.
It was extraordinary. Fabulous. Any adjective... They killed it.
Yeah, and we're gonna see who exactly.
This just in.
Kennedy beat Nixon. In case,
Oh,
in
amazing.
case you do not know who won the
He's
election in
teasing us.
1960, Kennedy.
Yeah, the only thing that would have been better there is if we had a Dewey defeats Truman joke.
You know, if anybody can flip it in, it's going to be Klein. Okay,
That's
so I
true.
mean, I'm sure. I love the way he brings in the banter sometimes with a sense of humor and just adds a little levity. One-liners like jump, it's like a stick and a jab, right? It's all there. Perfect.
Yeah.
Gets me. What up, guys? Viewers, are you excited for the results?
Yeah,
that's what we want to know.
Definitely.
Oh, I'm above and beyond
I'm
excited.
freaking out.
let us
You
know.
know,
Me too.
I mean,
No, they definitely are. I am seeing them in the comments. They are on the edges of their seats, as are we. I can't.
whoa.
yes! Wow!
Oh, wow.
In first place, and advancing to round number 3 of TKN Celebrity Tournament is John O'Hurley!
Oh my goodness! Imagination is important.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to John O'Hurley. We will see him again in round number 3. Is this a well-deserved victory for Mr. O'Hurley?
Absolutely is a well. Am I a bad person because I'm praying right now that there's a tie and we get to have the other two?
No, not at all.
Does that make me a bad guy? I feel like it does, but oh my god.
No, Jay, no, it does not.
This
It
was
does not
absolutely
make you a bad
magical.
guy.
It's matches like tonight that make
Who is advancing with John O'Hurley? Come on, let's.
We are about to find out.
Eric,
I called that.
you called that. You called it, Eric. I know you did.
I think a
All
lot
right,
of
we're-
I think a lot of people had Mr. O'Hurley at the top of their list. Sorry, Larry, what were you saying?
I just can't wait for this. It's magical. I would love to see them go at it again because this is exactly what TKN is about.
Absolutely. 2 nights of this, I could do.
Larry.
Well, we already have 2 tiebreaker matches coming up with Marcus Bagwell and Bryant McKinney. And we also have last week. Oh goodness, so much has happened already.
It's okay. Green, this does happen. This does happen. Sometimes we'll have a tie. All right, and I'm not trying to be a bad guy. I mean, I'm already in round 3. I'm feeling good about it. It was close, but edging out Matt Hughes by 2 single vote is the one and only Kelly Packard. Kelly Packard is on to round 3.
Wow.
Well done.
Congratulations to Kelly Packard. We will see John O'Hurley and Kelly Packard in round number 3. This means that Matt Hughes has officially been eliminated from this competition.
He has been, but a country boy can't survive. Okay, he used to come out and make my heart.
Definitely give it up, Matt Hughes, man.
Great job, Matt.
Yes,
You did awesome.
Yes. Matt, we appreciate you so much for being here.
Give it up to
And
Matt.
Jamie, you're absolutely correct. A country boy can survive because we do have that very special match that people will be voted into to see who will take John Amos's spot.
That's right. Good point, Giselle.
Yeah, we do.
So Matt, you could be a contender for that. We need to remember that we've had 6 eliminations so far. Matt Hughes is our 7th. Larry, I have a question for you, but first we have announcement time. So let's see what this is, and then I'll get back to you. So if I don't remember, remind me.
Okay.
You know, the one thing I got to say about tonight, guys, is that we had 3 different competitors from 3 different avenues of life. One that pounded heads, one that intrigued heads, and then one that looked, because Kelly's
easy on the eyes.
I remember her from day one. And it was absolutely amazing to see the 3 different types of competitors, the 3 different types of individuals, the 3 different types of scenarios that they brought to us that we had to grasp and to make a judgment call on. Mm-hmm. And I just think this was absolutely one of the best, if not the best, TKN show that's been on air.
Time.
I loved it.
So much. Lena G, thank you for what you brought tonight.
Alexander, thank you for being here this evening and voting.
DJ
Allison,
Solo.
yes, congrats to Kelly.
Thanks,
DJ Solo.
Yes. We've had so many people.
Thank you for calling that. Thank you for your amazing comments. Ed.
Ed, thank you, Ed, for being here and for that compliment.
Yes. Thank you, Ed.
Evans.
Hey, Shanavia, I'm sorry if I'm messing that up. You let me know. Okay.
Shay, what you brought tonight is awesome. Thank you so much, Shay.
Yes, we appreciate you.
Welcome.
Amazing.
Yes, thank you everyone for it, and thank you for being here as well. We love seeing all of our comments in the comment section.
We appreciate you and your Saturday night.
Ooh, the Green Room and Engine members that sent me their prediction videos will have their videos aired this Wednesday on the Black Box. The one video that is voted as the most captivating will...
Oh, surprises.
This is that announcement?
My seat's gonna break from being on the edge of Avi. Come on, you're killing me. Seriously, that's it. Good hands.
Avi.
Oh, I like the hands.
Just say it.
Yeah.
Say it.
Win a huge Christmas gift to close out 2024. Outstanding.
Nice.
Oh,
what is the nature of this Christmas
I'm talking
gift?
about.
I want to know.
I know what I'm getting for Christmas. I know what I'm getting for Christmas.
No, you don't. No, you don't. That's
yes, I do.
All right. It's going to be good. It's going to be good, though. I don't know. We better watch out, Larry. Larry's been doing some killer work for us, too. I mean,
Larry's killing it.
Could be taking everybody's lunch money, you know?
I could not. I can't disagree with that, Jamie, at all.
Thank you.
We have such amazing talent here in front of the screen, behind the cameras, our viewers, their intelligent comments.
Yeah.
It all adds up to this beautiful, beautiful show each and every week. And Howard, adding to those special moments are the top 10 round 2 competitors each week, aren't they?
Yeah, because you, the Engine, our fans tell us who you think should be in, who are the top 10 competitors in round 2. But man, let's take a moment and really take in a lot of what this night was. I mean, think about it, right? We live in a very wacky world, and tonight we had 2 hours and 49 minutes of just amazing positivity, of beautiful vulnerability. Where we created this beautiful environment where everyone is able to just, reveal themselves and be seen. And we are able to do that collectively. And that, to me, is an accomplishment of what we do every Saturday night. And speaking of every Saturday night, another match.
And I agree with you, Howard. It's every Saturday night, but it's also every Wednesday night. You've got a group of people on this TKN network that truly believe, truly understand, and truly just every time they're on the screen, give their heart out.
And we are going to be able to do that right now with our outro and our first look at next week's match at the very end. So stay tuned just a couple more minutes and let's find out who is competing next week.
All right, let's check it out.
Obsession's going to be talent every time. You got all the talent in the world, but are you obsessed? Is it all you ever think about?
Psycho was such a groundbreaking movie and thought of as tasteless and hateful and despicable, and a huge, huge hit.
Steve is an honest, outgoing person who is the most generous of spirit, and when we're making a movie, he loves to play. It's like a giant train set.
that had not really been done before. Is that the movies that really spoke to young people, spoke to teenagers and high schoolers, and they're just up to that point. As far as I know, there weren't really a lot of movies that really spoke to that audience.
Edge of the ring, saying, I don't know if I'm ever going to be good at this, but I've just found what makes me freaking come alive, you know, and I got to pursue this with everything.
There you go. There you go.
Oh. I think kids nowadays don't realize what we as black people have went through coming up through our days, all the way up until now.
Come together with kicking the bullying kids. We're gonna put everything together, man, and we're gonna straighten the kids out in America.
Where MI for Mission Impossible and Morse code, it was 2 slashes and 2 dots, and that set up a rhythm, a certain kind of rhythm for him with the beats, a long and a short and a short. The cast, the talent and the chemistry that we all had, and the relationships were so strong and genuine.
Here, Bischoff.
Born then, but there were a lot of things in my life, including an amazing relationship with my wife, that I had to be grateful for. But I never allowed myself to see it. I understood that I should, but I really didn't.
First, they went to Disney MGM Studios. That's a big brand. And now they've got Hulk Hogan. That's a big brand. So maybe there's something going on over there.
Oh!
So you can go and do what you think is the best job you ever did in your life, and you wind up on the short end of things. So that's life in general. You have to be willing to accept those situations. So you go out, you give your best effort, and if it's meant to move on to the next round, you move on to the next round, and you prepare for that.
It's a hard thing sometimes for players to do, and learning how to set your man up and learn that if he's leaning and makes just a little body motion, just like this way, I'm going to own him.
Oh.
Alley, it's not going to end beautifully. It's going to, in fact, it's always going to be ugly in the end. But boy, am I going to have great stories. And in the end, that's what I'm in. That's what I'm in life for. I just want to be able to tell the stories. I don't make it from infancy in Iowa to the Sports Center anchor desk at ESPN without this Sears.
Wow.
Woo-hoo. In my opinion, I think a volunteer army is the way to go, and I think it served us. It's why we have the greatest army in the world, the only army that's ever, only military that's ever controlled the 7 seas.
Kane had been there just a little bit before me. That was probably the best roster, in my opinion, in the history of wrestling.
Ooh. 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 Oh, there's my boy.
We have to consider so many things. So many choices to be made. And a lot of those choices can be life or death.
Me, I want it to be somebody that's tough and bad, and man, he's good. So my first thing when I got in the ring was, I'm gonna make you bigger than life.
Oh, there he is. It's my boy.
Yes.
And let me say this personally. Every member of my family is a war veteran of the United States of America. And we all took oaths. My mother, father, my brother, and I. If he agreed to do that, more young black people would be sent off to a war he was against. And he stood up and said, I'll give up the greatest title in the world because I will be a man of conviction.
And so
I said, okay, I'm quitting. And then the next morning I woke up in the morning and I just slammed my fist on my pillow. I go, I don't want to quit. And then I thought, well, you better get your ass in gear.
What you do, it's like Saturday Night Live. You have to do characters, but you have to be real singers.
A lot of people that were my contemporaries died, like Gilbert Gottfried and like Bob Saget, people I knew and worked with in clubs. And it just became so clear to me that this is like, all we have is now. This is it.
I really like my act. And she said, if you ever come to LA, write to me, let me know. And I wrote to her, and then she cast me an incredible shrinking woman.
Money, perhaps he asked for pearls. And your father, being the brave man that he is, says, no, I will not give in to this criminality. I will not give in to your wishes. A struggle ensues. And what happens? Boom! The gun goes off.
But all of a sudden, I'm all in on this little human. This little thing, this little miracle that's mine. And he's not going to survive without me.
I'd say John was the best rival, opponent, partner you could ever ask for. One of the best to ever do it in the ring.
And the fact that I get to meet people outside of what I've done as a professional basketball player, when it's all said and done, I'm a human being just like everybody else.
It'll mean a lot. I mean, it shows that I did something here, and the best thing about it, it only enriches other guys that you can recruit and say, hey, look, Rick Mahorn can do it, you can do it.
It's the guy who's willing to die who's going to win that inch. And I know if I'm going to have any life anymore, you got to look at the guy next to you. Look into his eyes. Now, I think you're going to see a guy who will go that inch with you.
You know what? Maybe one of the world's problems will get solved by listening to this show.
I'm going to win this whole thing. Watch. I know you are, Tom. I know you are.
Great show.
11th hour.
Is that a triple?